Hey, folks, welcome, and getting ready for a new, fun, and hopefully exciting episode of The Vice. Glad to have all you folks out there with us. Um, and we'll be getting started here in just about 15 minutes. You can see, whoops, I got to turn the countdown on. You can see the countdown running. Now you can. Let's see if it actually goes. There it goes. Yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff set up for today, and I know I'm looking forward to it. It's. I haven't had a deep writing session, deep story session for a little bit, and so it's kind of exciting to have one of those that really sort of came out of. I won't say came out of nowhere. Came from a one-line note that I had made back just a little bit ago, and back probably about this time last year. Made a little note, just a passing thought that's been sort of brewing for almost. Apparently, was it brewing in the back of my brain for a while? Because once I put pen to paper, man, oh man, did it all just come to the surface. So I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you guys. This little story piece that we have today, and with the cast and how they're gonna handle it, react to it, enjoy it, be traumatized by it. Hey, Kent, how you doing? Good to see you. Trying to get little things back exactly the way I want. We will be, as you can see, I've added in this all of you great subscription folks out there. Your money's into our total for the month, so we're over halfway to our goal. Excuse me, and actually I need to close that door over there because I thought I needed it for some extra air, and now I'm realizing it's getting cold in here. I didn't get a chance to update the doobly-doo down below, but we have changed around the spell bank, and it's basically now quick and easy. $100 per level is how it works. And I think my gain's up a little bit. Let me turn that down. It's basically $100 per level. So with the $300 from subscriptions that got added in, because you get double into the spell bank if you are a subscriber, we will have a third level spell that our party will be rolling on. And we'll be doing that right at the top of the session. It's going to be a good one today, Kent. It is going to be a good one. I am excited too. My heart's beating really fast. I've got to admit it. And I was going to say, and we're just barely, it's still a long way off before I actually get to where we're going to be in the grand scheme of things. It's a nice slow narrative build today, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I've been excited about it since like Tuesday. Oh man, oh man. How about that Critical Role for those who are Critical Role fans? Oh man, oh man. New campaign, new characters. They're all so cool. I really like them. I gotta say, right now, I think Travis's Hexblade, I think was how we're referring to him, is my favorite. But we shall see. How things go. I know there's so much fan art. I'm so impressed with the fan art community. It's amazing, the stuff that people produce and that they do, and all those good things. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's 4-hour sessions just like we are. I totally get it. I mean, hey, Exclamity, how you doing? Good to see all you guys. I was going to say I'm all small and fat now after the holidays. I ate way too many cookies, and I did not work out nearly as much as I should have. So, yeah, I'm in catch-up season just like everybody else who does the January new goals. So I'm right in there with everybody. If you're starting a workout program, I get it. I am sore, so sore. It's not even funny. After being back just for my first week back. Oh, man. Well, Kate, I hope you don't mind. I put up your work in progress of Iska because I think it's great. I know you've got more stuff you want to do to it, but I wanted to get out there so people could see it. So I hope you don't mind that I put it up in the rotation with all of the other great new cool art that we have from different people in different places. I was making a post earlier today about fan art, and it's amazing when people put pen or pencil or stylus to tablet or pen and pencil to paper, and take things that you've only described or see in your mind and turn them into drawings. I think it's like the true magic left in our world. I'm so glad your commissions are going so well, Wow, Kate. I love it. I love the fact that that we see so many so much of your art everywhere now. Speaking of which, namely, who did our knob art, did a piece of one of the characters last night. Actually, not from Critical Role. And it has flown and exploded all over the internet. I am so happy for her because I know she was looking at getting more commissions and more people to see her work. And I think it's up over 10 or 15,000 likes and like thousands of retweets. And the cast members commenting on how much they enjoyed it. I know Matt Koval commented on it. Here's some of Namely's work. That's Gandry. She did Gandry for us, and she did Knob for us. And how the little bit of suspension of disbelief of this goblin that uses the bottom of a porcelain mask. But yeah, there's Knob, who Namely did. So I'm so glad that she is getting some great success. Black Salad Art stuff I see is out there. Our buddy Good Guy. Oh yeah, no, I've got to mention Turncloaks. Some of the amazing art that we've gotten for Turncloaks of Alistair. In fact, that was the piece that got me rambling today. Was Andy Lee, Call of the Deep. Actually, I discovered him through Critical Role. The goblin's name, it's Nott is the character on Critical Role. Gnob is Knob, who's a Noblin, who's in our show. Yep. Not the Brave. I love it. So much fun. But so lots of great D&D stuff. And it's so funny, I've been playing WoW, and I've been having a great time playing WoW. But it was so funny after watching Critical Role and after having such a great week of writing, WoW felt so constrained because it's like I'm following, there's not like this open story that you can have. So, yeah. It is a fun emote. I like it. I like Wandering's capture of Talarian as well. I think that's really cool. Seeing scenes out there. I streamed some of it, but then I was just getting into boring stuff, and I'm a rogue. So watching me raid is basically looking at a boss's ankle or butt the entire fight. It really is not a fun thing to do. And I have to concentrate. I'm an old guy. I am not a good player. I'm not I can talk and still have all of my little fast twitch muscles working to make the fight go well. If I'm not concentrating, it means that they're going to kick me from the raid. So, so I stopped. Literally, like I said, it is, if you want to see a lot of boss butts or boss ankles, the other thing, especially in raids, and I remember this from 40-man raids, but especially now with, they do really cool magical effects, which are great when you're out solo in the world and you see your guy being a badass and you're like, woo! When there's 20 of you, doing cool effects all on top of each other in the middle thing. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it is tough to watch. I mean, it's hard. It's tough enough to play, but to watch, man, oh man. Yeah. Oh, I wish Rhino. But yeah, I'm going to have a back and forth all day long of whether I want that door open or closed, because it's just, there's just a little bit of a chill in my house, and it's driving me nuts, like I said. It's like, try to get it taken care of now. Oh, dude, I'm liking the new Tex Blade, though. Travis's Tex Blade instead of Hex Blade. I think everyone's kind of decided to refer to him as. Ah, man, oh man, oh man. So much fun stuff going on in the world of D&D. The fact that D&D Beyond is in a sponsorship and that the Blood Hunter class is, like, while still considered homebrew, is available on D&D Beyond as Wizard of the Coast content. I think that's pretty cool. But, yeah, no, so I was going to say, I realized that my shirts actually, thank goodness I don't use a green screen, because this totally, it's actually a better green screen than my, not that I ever use it as a green screen, than my green behind me. Fjord Ranger. Oh, that's good. Oh, dude, I was so happy when I saw them, they spelled it FJORD, because, you know, my first character was Gavin Fjordhammer, FJORD. So, yeah. Well, where is my buddy, Good Guy? He has not arrived yet. We might have to do our normal thing where we get started, and then when he pops in, we'll add him into the lineup. But yeah, no. So I think it's cold. I think it's the new year, and you know, during the summer, people are doing stuff. They're outside. They don't have time to sit down for 4 hours. But you know, when it's too cold to go out and about, it's like, hell yeah, I'll sit down and watch some D&D. Oh, hey, Corvex. Well, thank you. No, I liked Fulton as well. Sounds like we'll be coming back for another season of Learn by Play, with a whole sort of different concept that goes with it. And yeah, I'm not sure yet, but I might be back in the cast as well. Not sure if Will's going to bring back the old cast to continue on, or whether he's going to do a whole new cast. But yeah, Fulton was a lot of fun to play. I got some great artwork. Again, talking about artwork, great artwork of Fulton. It's not completely done yet, so I'm sort of waiting till that occurs for me to share it in a broad sense, because I still need to pay for it, and I'm not going to share art that I haven't paid for. I've done little teasers of it, but yeah, to me that's like not cool, that if someone sends you lots of work in progress and doesn't want to get paid till the end, that you don't start sharing it around when it's unpaid for. Yeah, my Tiefling voice is actually my Triton voice. If anyone's seen me play Triton before, play Mercury. Mercury, who is very, very outgoing, but he's a Triton, and he doesn't know culture very much. He likes sweets as well. This seems to be a thing that happens around. He is most favorite of the Snickerdoodle. It is a cookie that he has discovered that he likes because he is tasty, and it is fun to say. But yeah. And my problem is, Volturians is supposed to have a little bit of that, and I can't do just a little bit of it. Whenever I do it, I totally get right into it, and it gets very heavy. So, yeah. Since I have art, yeah, I probably will play Fulton elsewhere. Don't know where yet. Oh my gosh, yeah. Turncloaks. Man, Turncloak makes your heart hurt, but it, you know, in that kind of good way. I mean, it's a bad way, but it's a good way. But it does make your heart hurt, and it just gets worse. Oh my gosh, guys, I know I'm whispering, but it's like, it's hard to even. It just keeps getting worse. You think that, you know, it was starting to lighten up, and we were, you know, things were kind of, you know, even all the way up to this episode. I mean, other than the fact the Doctor is like the scariest thing ever. I love him. But yeah. Yeah. Lots of fun stuff happening at Turncloaks. Shivers. Sends chills down your spine. Hey, we got a good guy pie here. We got a full casting crew back there. I'm going to let them know that we're getting close. Getting close. We'll be popping over in about 30 seconds. So, I'm going to be leaving you over here while we jump over to the other screen real quick. Let me get my headset on and get ourselves moved over. See what our crazy cast members are talking about over there. Here we go, folks.
We had to move over to Roll20 by the time we got to it.
And here we are, everyone. A whole cast here, and everybody ready to play the fun and excitement of
But are we in the
today.
right spots?
Not even close.
That is the question.
Yeah, not even close. And I'm sure that there's a way for me to make it that if I put you in that the right spot will always be the right spot in every different iteration, but that has yet to happen for me. So, on that note, I need to start playing around and moving people to their right spots. And gosh, do I have like multiple of the same thing up? Apparently I do. So that stays on. Anyway, yeah, so we will start off with our good buddy, Dragons or Cats, because he's closest to being where he's supposed to be of anybody.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dragons and Cats, fresh from sunny Australia. Sun's just come out. It's wonderful. I'll be playing Ishbrin, the legend warlock of the Frost Prince. And we've just found out that the gates are going to open 49 days after the convergence. So let's see what Mystery's device has in store for us today.
Woohoo!
And emotional trauma.
Trauma. You don't think there's always trauma involved when I'm around. I don't understand that.
I wonder where we got that impression.
Where in the world could you have gotten such a horrible impression of me? Next up, we will have our good friend, Tree Hugging Druid.
Hi. I'm 1 year older than I was
Happy
last
birthday!
time.
I'm sure nothing will happen bad to your character on your birthday.
Absolutely not. Hi, I am Tree Hugging Druid. I play Celia Rollerin, our high elf rogue who does roguey things like investigate and stealth.
And has a really, really, really cool rapier.
And has a freaking awesome rapier that she never gets to use.
Because she sleeps through all the fights. Next up, we have Templar Warden from sunny New Zealand.
Hello, I am Templar Warden from New Zealand. I am playing Hidden by Axel, the Tabaxi wizard. Excitable, intelligent, and generally way too energetic. But yeah, having to face all these new things in his life, it's not easy for the poor guy.
Very cool. Next up, we have Bird vs. Plane.
Hey there, folks. I'm Bird. I'll be playing Iskatol, the half-elf bard turned gunslinger in training, who just figured out a new Chorus of the Muses spell, who finally hit something with a gun, who watched as someone else rode a string of fate last session in a very surprising turn of events. I'm excited to see what fate lies in store for us here.
Next up, we have NNG9.
Hello, everyone. I'm NNG9. I play Luna, our Water Genasi monk who is a little imbalanced at the moment. Yep.
Little, yeah. Big stuff, big things. Next up, we'll believe Good Guy Pie, who is also not terribly balanced at the time.
You know, I'm here. I'm awesome and stuff. I miss Critical Role, and I feel a bit sad about it, not watching it live. And got to catch up on it now. But in other news, I am Good Guy Kai, and I will be playing Black Gold Heart, Human Blood Hunter and Adventurer, and I am being ripped off. I swear they are copying my style. I am not accepting this. I'm going to be speaking to some lawyers. It is unacceptable. I am the only lovable blood hunter on the Twitch platform. What is this?
Dude, they learned it from you, man. They learned it from you. And our good friend, Toonarth.
Hello, I am Toonarth. I'm playing Kel, the Wood Elf Druid, who is not in a good place because he found out his brother is dead and is turned into an avenging undead thing bent on his destruction, or something to that effect. And now more prophetic things are coming to realization, and not sure what to do, where to go, what do we do? Oh my god, what's gonna happen? Let's find out.
We shall find out. And I am Tall Squall. I am your host. I am just happy to have all of you here, my cast, all of my friends out in chat. You guys are an amazing community, and whether you can just tune in and lend us your moral support, or help us out with the charities that we support each month, we love that you're here. We have the greatest community in the world. The fact that the overall, even the worldwide role-playing community is so amazing, and that we get to be a little tiny part of it just makes my world shine. So, and you guys are a part of that for us. So thank you each and every one for being here for whatever amount of time you're allowed to spend with us or catch up with us on our video on demand. As I said, we do run the station 100% for charity. This month, we are supporting the World Wildlife Federation. You can see different ways that you can influence the game down below. Also, you can just click on the word World Wildlife Federation in the description. It'll take you to their site. There are many times you can just volunteer your time in your own community for some of the things that they're doing. And I encourage everyone to do that, or just to see exactly what they do out there in the world to try to help save the animals that are becoming so endangered on our planet. Anyway, we're going to jump right in here. There's a lot to do today. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. We left off last time after battles with two interesting different things of the vice creatures. One specifically, this construct made from the sentient strands of fate itself was vanquished by our group, and of all things, literally in the middle of the night, as it was approaching midnight, it was Luck who spotted a campsite of all things. The number one rule told to them all back in the Restoration Station by their Noblin friends: you don't sleep, you don't stop, you don't cast spells. Here was a campsite right in the middle of the road, the Vice. As they crept forward, they discovered it wasn't just an illusion. It actually was a real camp. Turns out that they caught up with Valturion. And within a bubble almost, around the indigo seed, which he was carrying, it seems as though magic is unaffected by the currents of the Vice. Luna reached out almost in a trance to touch it and had sort of an existential experience of loving warmth from this seed. And some few discussions, questions about of each other, about things that they had read in the tome, about why he was here, how he was here. Valturion announced that two things. One, there was something ahead of them that seemed bent on making sure that they did not pass through the Vice, but also that he had a plan. Just to bring you back into the scene a little bit more, let me describe Valturion for you. He is sort of dark purple skin, black horns, and golden eyes. He is dressed basically in natural armors. The party knows from earlier that he is a druid. The seed itself is about 24 inches tall. I mean, it's a very large seed that is there almost, as it was described in one of the things, almost the size of a small child, sort of like a baby would be if it was wrapped up in swaddling things about that size. And we're going to jump right in there. First thing, actually, who wants to roll for y'all's scroll so I can drop it in the session when I want? I need someone to roll me a D56.
I will.
Go for it. Ooh, on the 56. Wind Wall is what will be in the spell bank, if you choose to cash it in or let it build. Okay, and with that, as I said, it's nearly midnight. Luck, very concerned about suddenly the newfound trust everyone has, not being magical himself, did not feel the great sort of change in the weave and the tapestry of fate around him. Very concerned. I think he went off to the no-think zone, if I remember correctly. Dustin is also sort of in the no-think zone. He doesn't quite know what he's gotten himself entangled with. And Valturian basically is turned to the group and says, yes, I want to teleport us out of here. He then opens a pouch at his side and pulls out a nearly spherical looking seed. Tusk seems to swirl in the firelight, almost as though it's liquid on the outside. For those of you who have seen certainly Luna, it's very much looks like how the grain in warp wood sort of flows across its surface. This is the twin to the seed that spawned the Warpwood Guardian tree that watched over the indigo seed in the basement of Reginald's tower for decades, until it became corrupted by the vice surge carried by my apprentice. I believe I can germinate it under the influence of the indigo seed itself, but close enough to the vortex to harness the vortex power, so that we can punch our way through the currents created here within the vice, and connect with one of the warpwood trees planted by my order near east on the far side of the vice. We will be able to pass from tree to tree. The issue is, whatever is waiting for us at the vortex has no intention of letting us leave here alive, and certainly not with the seed. The process will not be instantaneous, as I will have to separate the energies of the vortex. They don't burn up the Warpwood Guardian as it grows, as well as find and focus on the eastern Warpwood that I have never actually been to. This is a desperate move, but I find myself in a desperate time.
You will have your time.
Is there anything that I could do, or something Kel could do, if it's nature magic or just with magic? I could maybe help out with sort of a ritual thing, or maybe Iskrin, because he can see the weave and such, so he could help out with sort of pulling it and knowing how you're channeling. Could we have?
It would be much appreciated, if nothing else, to hold off whatever awaits for us. But if you have magical abilities that we could use, perhaps the ritual could go faster, could be accelerated, so we wouldn't be under threat for as long.
What could help?
We will have to discuss it. But he sort of looks up and goes, but as I'm sure it must have been a long day, or days for you, it has been a long day for me. It is close to midnight. We should try to rest and get moving tomorrow. We can discuss all the options then. Just as a note, since you were interrupted, Kel, you still do have 2 levels of exhaustion from because your time in the ring was interrupted. Dustin has a level of exhaustion as well. Many of you actually still have levels of exhaustion that have built up. Of course, here in this space, it seems as though you would be able to get a normal long rest.
Well, I think that Luck and Dustin probably concerned about stopping, so we need to make sure that someone's on watch. And you said that we could attract attention and no one comes here, but it's possible as well. So we should have somebody else to watch.
That is certainly not a bad idea. I depended on the seed to hide me, but this is a much larger party, and there was a strange giant black serpent that seemed to find me. Even in the presence of the seed, I had to fend it off with a fireball a few days ago.
We ran into a black serpent as well. We got rid of it, but yeah, maybe it was the same one, maybe it wasn't.
That was your fireball.
Oh yeah, the one back there. But yes.
But if Kent donated $10, happy birthday! One random potion from the Party Punch Bowl to Celia. So yeah, if you all are welcome to keep watch. Certainly, Celia is an elf. She still gets all of her elf things, which only takes her 4 hours if you want to do that. Kel, your call, whether you want to do, you could do an 8-hour back-to-back long rest to get rid of the 2, or a 6-hour in the ring, which gets rid of 2 as well. So
I was going to say I think I want to do the 6-hour in the ring.
Okay.
Along with the cat, who also has 2 levels of exhaustion.
Yeah, actually the cat does have 2 levels of exhaustion as well, so we can do them in the ring. There is the shard. Actually, shard is not recharged, but for everyone else who would just like to do a normal, let's pull up the old Party Punch Bowl.
Well, the shard isn't really an advantage if we're doing a regular long rest.
No,
the ring is.
Correct. Yeah, the ring is. The shard is not. Let's get out the Party Punch Bowl. I need you to roll me a D33, Miss Celia.
Should I roll one too for the last week?
Yes, you should roll one as well. Thank you for reminding me.
24.
Ooh. So. And you need to roll me. You got one of the special ones there because of your birthday. You get to roll again. Do me another 33.
$28.
And a 28. It is your birthday.
Really?
You'll find out. You'll find out tomorrow.
Oh God.
And you had a. Oh yeah. So yeah, we'll deal with that tomorrow. So, Kel, you going back in the ring? Whoosh. Kat going back in the ring. Whoosh. What's everyone else doing?
Hey, Iskrin.
Huh? Yeah? I instantly stand up, the Astrosphere and Lyle just drop to the ground, just like, huh? And then I realize what I've done and just like lean down and take back the Astrosphere and then put it away, and then put Lyle just in my back and then teleport over. Explosion of blue glitter, and then reforms next to Celia.
What's up again?
There he goes, pooping in public again.
Celia takes Iskrin's hand and says, "We need to talk."
We are talking.
Celia looks to the others and then kind of just pulls Iskrin a little bit away.
Like Loda, still looking a little distracted after see, just kind of like shoves him in your general direction.
Look, we'll just lean over to Dustin, since Dustin's in the no think zone along. It's like, I know that sound. That is a bad sound. That is a sound you do not want to hear a woman to say. Like,
So
Yes. But you've been married for longer than some of these kids have been alive. You know these things.
Celia just like pulls Iskran away from the group and says, "Honey."
Honey.
Honey.
You gotta stop with the magic. Right now it's fine. Because we are
Yeah.
fine not being affected by the virus. But when we are, it could be bad.
Yeah. I've been lucky at least. He just
Yeah,
smiles.
but
No. Okay. Look. I mean, I'm sorry. Outside the radius of the seed, the magic, it'll stop. You see, he's the colors of his clothes and his eyes just get a little bit darker blue. He just recedes a little bit back into winter, and basically he just nods and be like, okay, look, I've been putting everyone at jeopardy. I think the wave quakes coming through.
oh my goodness. Okay.
Lyle comes out. What was that? Must be nothing. Puts Lyle away.
it was Grain.
It was Grain. It could be Grain. Yeah, Grain for once is not cowering,
muted,
shaking
Jay.
like a poor little puppy on New Year's Eve underneath the
Jay,
bench.
you
of
are
the
Jay,
night.
muted.
you're muted.
Muted.
Hi.
Hashtag pro streamer.
Sorry, I was doing tons of typing and didn't want you to have to hear my incredibly loud typing. But yeah, no, it easily could be Grain. This is actually the first time Grain has not been like a shaking puppy underneath of the seat of the wagon or underneath the bowels of Tian, like a dog on New Year's Eve. So to actually see Grain, not in distress is certainly, to have him bark and go over and lick the little people is good.
Is Grain currently in Justice Pose?
Actually, Grain is over with Luck because Luck has been in distress. So, whenever Luck is emotional, Grain does find his way to Luck.
Oh.
Oh,
He's a support dog. He's a support puppy. Puppers.
Oh.
You were
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Look. Back in the cave, you said you didn't want to put your family at risk. I'm sorry I've been putting yours at risk. Selfish. I shouldn't be so selfish. Seems we're safe at the moment.
We're safe at the moment, outside of this fear. Vax, what do you want?
He's then just going to say, I'm going to hold off. I'm confident in Lyle's edge. So, or unless we're near this seed, apparently. Change of topic. Do you guys know this tiefling?
Excuse me. Okay. We've read some of his books.
Cool. What does he do? Where do you
Dog.
get this from?
Yeah, we've read some of his books, but we don't know him personally.
Well, He says he needs to try hide, didn't he? Did he? I can't remember. No. Yeah, we'll come to that bridge later. Do you want to take first watch, or should I?
I will. I'm going to train a little bit.
What are we training? Grain.
He's so happy to be out from underneath the tree.
I don't know what's up with Max today. He's all over the place.
New critical
sorry,
role.
guys.
He's all excited.
Yeah, he's been a happy papa. Yeah, Ishrin's just gonna say, well, if you want to train, I'd be happy to train with you, or I could work with whatever's going on with that seed. I really want to know how he's going to teleport through trees. I mean, I've heard of such things.
Druids, man.
My partner was actually, who I'm looking for, is actually a druid. She quite strong in the weave of nature. But
Not
we'll
dying.
cross that. Hopefully you can meet her. Hopefully she's still alive and energized. I don't know.
I hope
So
I
is
get
it-
to meet her one day.
Well, so do I. Is this a talk? Is this what you mean by talk?
This is another type of talk.
Ah.
There's multiple types of talks.
You say he's just confused for a minute. It's just not everything. It's like, but we are talking. You seriously, you mortals, how do you just not share like direct connect emotions?
You mortals. Real Casanova there.
Yeah.
Celia will kiss Iskrin's cheek and say, "You're mortal now too."
It's true.
His face, he just sinks into himself, and he's just kind of, he literally just slowly turns and squats down and starts running his hands through his hair in an internal panic.
Yeah. In
And
that
then
panic,
goes
if you can roll me a D33 from our friend Kent for a potion, which will be showing up shortly.
Everyone loves potions.
Nope, slash
That'd be a
R.
slash R.
Slash R, dude. I know how to do this.
The nat 1 on the potion, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a potion of understanding mortality.
Yeah, as he does that, he goes invisible. He really does. He disappears.
Okay, so other things are going. Luck, are you trying to get some rest? Or are you staying up?
I'm gonna look. Is too paranoid to actually sleep, so he'll sort of just be sitting there with his pickaxe, sort of almost like always. He's always holding it and just constantly scanning.
Constitution saving throw. Let's see if you stay awake, or how awake you stay. I'll do it that way.
It's 20.
Let's see. On a 20, and the fact that you don't have exhaustion, yeah, you're amped, man. You're up. Others?
Iska is going to want to approach Luna at some point. Is Luna like checking out the seed still, or what's like Luna up to?
Luna is by the seed, but she is not touching it.
Okay, just kind of looking at it.
She's staying near it, but she's not solely focused on it now.
Iska approaches her then, and like very cautiously tries to get her attention. Just, Luna,
She'll turn towards you. Yes.
would you come speak to me for a moment away from this?
Stands up, goes with you.
And Iska wants to lead them a little bit away from people, just so like they could speak in like hushed voices and not necessarily be like heard
Okay.
If that makes sense. I don't want to go like outside of this bubble
Right. Yeah.
that
It's
we're
60
in.
foot. It's a 60-foot radius. You can
Okay.
you can still be within the sphere, but again, it's dark. People are going to sleep. They're doing their preparations for bed. Iskrin and Cilia are doing theirs. I guess Axel's probably
Talking.
doing his notes and such. Yeah. Normal pre-bed routine. So yeah, no, I think you can do this pretty well.
Okay. As soon as we get to a spot, Iska will kind of look around and look to her and ask, when you touched the seed, what did you feel?
Belonging.
When you touched that, I saw something. I see these things when these songs come on me and open up new powers, but this one I don't know what it is. Sometimes the visions, they're premonitions, sometimes they're just visions. I don't know what they are, but I saw you in this. But much older. And you were holding a child. But not just any child. This was a Genasi. A fire Genasi, Luna. I don't understand. I don't know what this means, but I didn't think this was... I don't know what this means. And I wanted you to hear this now, and away from them, just so we can... And like Iska's like almost looking for words, like she doesn't know how this is going to hit Luna, or if she even believes Iska. So there's this kind of like nervous talk about the conversation.
Luna's face muscles keep twitching every couple of seconds, which is when she finally settles on. How old?
Old. The gray hair, everything.
But you do not know if it is certain or only possible.
I have no idea. Up until that moment, I didn't think it was even in the realm of possibility, but I saw it clear as day. And heard it, too, a song chanting. I don't know what it means. I don't know if it's even possible, but maybe it could be. You are the mother, after all.
Iska, you know how important survival is to me, yes?
Of course.
If something goes wrong with what we have to do, and I am still here, I want you to run. I will not. I cannot have that taken away from me twice. If something goes wrong, we need to run, because I will do things that I didn't before. Promise me you'll do that.
Iska looks you in the eye, kind of looks away, and returns a glance, and doesn't say yes, doesn't say anything, just a very slight head nod.
I wish I could say I'd give more than one warning, but I know I won't. I hope everything goes well, and I get to hold that child. Thank you, Iska.
You, in your discussion, didn't notice, but Dustin has drifted over your way.
At this point, her face is back to perfectly placid.
My apologies. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude or eavesdrop. It's an old talent I have, and sometimes I even can't quite distinguish if I'm hearing a conversation or watching it and understanding what has been said. He looks guilty. He seems to gather himself, not quite knowing where to start or even how to explain himself, so with a sigh, he just begins. My wife, you see, was from a long line of farmers. Her family, a part of a human community that worked the lands of a minor lord south of Balathira for generations. Their history stretched back from the times before the grounding even, working that same land, but never truly owning their harvest or homes or tools, just the small portion of the income it generated, bestowed upon them by their lord. It was my wife, Sarah, whose grandfather had the wisdom to look back over his life and think forward to the future. 45 years ago, he went to the Lord who he knew owned vast tracts of wilderness to the north and the west, and asked what would it cost for the community to buy their own land and to work it. The Lord was a kind and honest man and quoted a fair price. The story goes that Sarah's father didn't even blanch when he said the number, knowing it was a price that would take lifetimes for them to accrue. But he went forward and discussed the details with the Lord, and with shrewd negotiation on both sides they settled upon a parcel of land. It was far from the roads, but surveys from before the grounding showed it to have a clear stream, healthy lumber and fertile metals that could be cultivated. A contract was drafted up for the land, and it was left with an open end date. Sarah's grandfather presented this contract to the community, and all agreed that from then forward, all would put in all they could into paying it off, so that one day their children, or perhaps their children's children, or beyond, could fulfill it and then live on land that they could call their own. And so their dream was born. Now, I first noticed Sarah at the markets. She seemed to always be there, with a warm smile, kind ear, and goods to barter or sell. Sarah would always say she wasn't a beautiful woman, but to anyone who looked with more than their eyes, they could see the beauty that lied within her. I assumed she must be local to the marketplace, located in the shadow of the Lord's estate. But when I finally got the courage to ask, she said no, she was from one of the furthest farms, and that she woke before dawn and returned well past dusk to travel here each day to sell her goods. She then told me of her community's dream, and it became my dream as well. I was a hunter back then, so I brought Sarah game as often as I could in small woodcrafts that could be sold, and it was impossible for me not to fall in love with her. And 17 years ago, we were married. And 3 years after that, our daughter was born, Lily, a child of the air. When she was born, it had been just a year since the events of the culling had swept through our region, so superstitions about the children were still strong. But the horror of the culling was still fresh enough in people's minds to shield us from any outward hostility. We knew early on that Lily would be simple of mind, but that didn't matter to us. No, neither of us had ever known a more loving child than our Lily. When she smiled at you with her alabaster skin and silver cloud of hair, it was like seeing the full moon through the mist and having it smile down upon you. It wasn't until later that we realized she was gifted as well. I like to believe that her joy and happiness was so pure it lifted not only her heart, but her body as well up to the heavens. You see, when she would run giggling through the fields, her toes would barely touch the ground, and one would almost believe that she could fly. Many were sure that one day she would leave the ground and in that moment bring the netherwings down on us, but she never left contact with the earth, and the rumors of the sounds of leathery wings on the wind were just that, rumors. Throughout her life, even in our small community, though, wary eyes followed Lily, and friends were hard to find. So on her 5th birthday, Sarah made her a doll. Just a simple one from corn husks. And whenever Lily was sad or nervous, or sensed others were, she would bring out her baby and say, "Kiss the baby. Okay, all better now." She never once misplaced that doll or left it behind. It was always in a pocket or within reach. You see, it was her baby, and she knew she was the one to take care of it. My family, we met Talarian just before harvest 6 years ago. He appeared out of the woods by our farm, silent as a stag and almost as nervous. Lily was picking wildflowers close by, singing one of her meandering tunes. Seeing Sarah's and my concern for this stranger emerging from the forest, he just raised both hands and nodded to us assuringly that he meant her no harm. Before I could even take a step, this new person from the woods caught Lily's attention, and she flashed him a big wet smile and at full run went over to bear hug him, her sturdy 8-year-old form almost knocking him over in her exuberance. As I approached, I wasn't sure if Talarian was going to stay or disappear back into the forest. I think he might have run if it hadn't been for Lily firmly attached around his waist. Talarian didn't speak much then. He said only, "I saw your hunt didn't go well, and the night will be cold," and presented me with 3 plump pheasants that were hanging from his pack. As if on cue, Lily chimes in, "Yay, guest for dinner! Mommy and Daddy, my new friend is staying for dinner!" And then latched onto Talarian's hand and began dragging him to our small cabin. Talarian tried to protest and looked almost in a panic, but our Lily's overflowing joy in her new friend and a presentation to him of her baby for a kiss, which he dutifully did, quelled his unease and Sarah's and mine as well. So he finally gave in and was led to dinner. Conversation was strained, but between Sarah and Lily, Talarian grew comfortable, and we shared our lives and dreams openly with this new stranger who would become my closest friend. At this point, you kind of see Dustin close off, and you can imagine as he's remembering the conflict from just a few days before and what the glance sort of at the ring, knowing that Talarian is within the seed with Kel. His face just drops, and he just sort of walks back away, and you can tell he's unable to speak any further because of the emotion that is sort of caught in his throat. Axel or anyone else, things you're doing. Dustin wanders off and begins to make his bedroll.
Axel really wasn't there for that. He was doing his own thing, hauling out Tian to set up Tian on a watch and just settle in with his books. He'll summon, now his magic, he'll summon Gonry back to him.
Yay.
Play with the little salamander a little bit. He sort of sent him away before they went into the ice. So. And he'll get out his books. He'll get out the journal, and every now and then when he's just looking over them, he'll glance over to what's his name? I've already forgotten his name.
Dustin?
Valtorian,
yes.
Valtorian sort of location, but since the two things going to sleep, it doesn't really disturb him. He's sort of got all his books out, and he fishes out a new one from the library box and starts flicking through it. But he puts it sort of with the others and goes with his notes, and that's pretty much how he does his evening. But he's got a lot on his mind, and he just seems very, he normally gets sort of out of it, but this time he's got dozens of books that he's actually just got there as comfort more than anything. He's not really reading them, but he's just a bit off. But that's sort of how he does his notes and goes, sort of curls up next to Tian.
Okay.
Sort of make a little bed.
Luna, Iska, anything you want to do after Dustin wanders away?
Luna will actually approach Dustin, seeing that he's getting ready, and crouch down by him. You did what was right. There was nothing else you could do. And there's no expectation for you to be okay with it, but know that it was right. Time will ease this burden.
I hope Kel is right, that we can fix it somehow. And he just sort of, having been a fairly quiet, private man during this journey, sort of just gets back to making his thing. He goes, I have more to tell, but tomorrow.
Luna will so stand back up and walk over.
As she starts to stand up, he grabs her hand, and he goes, your mission will not fail. Not if I'm alive.
Thank you for being a loving father. He'll take it off and walk away.
Got a few rolls we need to make, unless if people have things that would do right before they head off to sleep.
Oh.
Or not sleep, as in luck cases. In that case, Celia, I need you to do me a perception check. Okay, good to know.
Just on a note, after a little bit of time has passed and Sylvie's been training, Ishkan will become visible again, and basically just cross his legs on the ground, lie all over his lap, and then just stare and watch her train, and then just drift off.
Okay.
Sleep into a meditation. And it's when all these colors just go grey.
Okay. Luck, good guy pie, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please. Nice. um, it almost becomes like a meditation. You stay awake, looking out into the vice, this place of death, and Grain is sitting in your lap every once in a while, rearranging himself as young dogs will, but basically not disturbing you. And you think back on Luna's words about this tiefling that she trusts and what that means. And your mind drifts back to when you had the ring on your finger and were changing. And there's this weird sense of connection that you feel. Perhaps it started while you were in the vice, but just connection to these events. Somehow your legacy, maybe your family, the guardians of Elevation Pit. There's this feeling of connection. The past guardians and their stories seem to keep visiting you as though you should remember something, but you're unable to grab what it is. It's just like one of those little things that's in the back of your mind that is bugging you. Kel. While you're in the ring, you once again, as you try to drift off into your reverie or just contemplation while within there, you find yourself again within Talarian's body, seeing out through his eyes. He's in the vice, and you feel the familiar weight of exhaustion that the vice causes, but you also now feel Talarian's concern. He knows now that he's not recovering as he should be within the shard that the caravan has provided for the group. He's fended off the mental assaults that he has now attributed to the ring. It has shown him scenes of your past, coloring them with malice, but Talarian has not bent to them yet. Through the exhaustion and worry, though, a new scene emerges, one that he actually remembers. Crossing your path barely months ago in Sojourn's Crossing, and that first discussion that the two of you had had with each other in over 7 years. But now the truth of it is revealed to Talarian. He assumed you still a child at that reunion, but now he can see that through your experiences with your friends, that your skills had far outstripped his own. He wants to be happy for you, Kel. Or proud. But there's an instant of sibling envy and a dread of a truth that he did not see at the time. And it's like a small scratch becoming infected as you and Talarian realize that the ring's corruption has found an entry point. The rest of the night, for the rest of you, passes uneventfully, and dawn breaks. Oddly, for all of you who have before awakened through seeing the dawn from marching through the night, are awakened almost like normal around a campsite and on a road that just happens to be the Vice.
During my 4 hours of being awake, was it possible for me to crouch on by the seat and just look at this thing's weeds?
Sure.
He wants to transport like between plants. I'm assuming he wants to. As I look at it, I'm assuming it's very strong in the weave of nature and life.
It's interesting. It does not even make or register in the weave at all.
Why is that? I'm curious. Wow, this thing's not coming up. How is he going to transport by something that's not a part of the weave?
Lyle sighs. Really? Look around you. What's outside the bubble?
Nothing. Dead.
Absolute magical maelstrom.
Is that too?
Yet,
Yeah.
in here, it's fine.
I'm very curious about why that is. Why in this little bubble, coming from this little seed, he's gonna point. Why in this little bubble with this little seed? Why is it unaffected? The maelstrom, and why isn't it having an effect? How is this seed so important?
I guess you'll have to find out now, won't you?
Indeed.
You always used to like a good mystery.
I touch
And
it.
suddenly Lyle's Cockney. I don't know why.
Accent jumps all over the place.
What a strange vice magic surge that we all have accents now.
Yes.
I grab the top of this seed and just
As you touch the seed, all magic drains from your body. All of it. Every bit. You don't glow anymore. You have no spell slots. You couldn't cast a cantrip if you tried.
well. He yeah, okay. Well, Ishrin becomes a little bit ethereal, a little incorporeal, and like begins to fall down on his ass.
What?
Just in shock.
I was going to say, everyone else is asleep. This was during his 4 hours by himself, left alone, unsupervised.
Look, didn't go to sleep.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So yes, look, you probably saw this. If you want to,
What?
I'll let you see it.
What in blazes are you doing?
Being scared.
Don't just go randomly touching things.
Dad. I love Dad.
It's one. How could you not figure something out if you don't use your senses? Mortals.
You have
Damn it, I'm mortal.
4 other senses, and actually minus another one. You have minus taste and touch. You have all those, and you choose the ones that you touch with. You touched it. You could look at it. You could smell it. You could try and hear it. But nope, you touched it.
Well, seeing wasn't really working. It's dead wave. There's no wave. There's nothing. So it's got.
If I leave you to it, will you eventually lick it?
Is that a
You
challenge?
wouldn't you? No, do not lick it.
Oh, okay.
You look horrible as it is.
You see, he lift up his hands. His hands nearly like full out of bursts of white, like ghostly. And it's like, yeah, as you can see, my form's not holding well.
You're trying to get yourself killed, are you?
It's
Quick
what I
question.
do.
Is Luck attempting to be quiet at this point? Is it stage whisper, or is it normal voice?
It's like slow. Like at this point, it's sort of like just above whisper level. As it's sort of that
I just
slow.
use the concept.
Yeah, it's a slow build.
Yeah. Axel's like nearby, so.
It's just gonna kind of like sniper crawl like just on his belly towards Luck because he's just absolutely drained, and just like heel over onto his back and just look up at Luck. It's just like I don't know what the hell that is. That is dangerous. That is no magic fun.
If it looks dangerous, if it seems dangerous, and if it is something you are not sure of, you don't normally touch it.
Well, I couldn't use my magic on it. I should have, actually. That was a mistake.
Wait, what? Iskrin, you have tried to get yourself killed 3 times in a whole count of being in here. Does it not register up there, or?
To be honest, I don't entirely have pain receptors.
Let's find out, shall we?
And it's just gonna just try and.
The slap, like it you see it registers like, okay, he's slapping me. Okay. Like at the moment, it's just like a hand going half through like a sheet.
You hear Lyle's voice. Perhaps now you should give it a rest. You need to recover, but good lesson learned. Good
Very
talk.
much so. Good talk. Good night. I get up and I know Luna's got the. I crawl over to where Luna is, and touch my ring and go into it.
You can't. There's a cat, and there's a cat, and
Cat
there's a
and
Kel
Kel.
in there. Both of who have 2 levels of exhaustion.
Okay, I just wait there for the rest of the night, just staring, trying to go back into a meditation while like attempting.
I'd say if you want to. I mean, if you want to, because you. Knowing Iskrin, yes, this isn't Kyle at all. Knowing Iskrin, I assume it didn't take very long for you to come out of your reverie before you were touching the seed. If you'd like to go back into reverie to recover like your spell slots and your magic, I will allow you to do that.
He would love to. He would very much love to just basically just curl up into a ball, right near his ring where he feels the safest. So Luna's just going to wake up with a near-dead Eladrin next to him.
We'll see how fast you come. How
Probably
fast you
would have just
recover.
like, I don't remember doing that.
Did I kill him?
Did I
No.
sleep choke him? What did I do?
It happened. It finally happened.
Yeah.
She finally did it.
True bird. You were so good at training grain. If only you had as much luck with Iskrin.
It's just Luke's got Burt face right now, or after Iskrin falls away. It's just.
Anyway, we'll say people do begin to come awake. Iskrin is still recovering. He'll be probably about 30 minutes behind the rest of you in waking up. Kel, certainly someone can get Kel out of the ring. He's been in there over his 6 hours now, but no one could get him out. You were asleep. Valturian has come out, and he is sitting by there. He's eating some dry rations. You notice, Axel, you notice that he's flipping through the pages of the tome, which you guys had returned to him last night. Give me a perception check. I'll give you advantage even. Since you spent 4 days, 5 days of your life trying to translate it. So yeah, on a 17, you notice that there are pages, he sort of like has his fingers between the pages. There's pages there that didn't exist, or that you weren't able to perceive or see from when you were translating it.
Yeah, Axel was kind of aware of the phenomenon that pages don't actually show up until you reach them.
Yeah.
In terms of reading it, etc. He, we haven't seen those ones. Is it possible for you to hold it open there and then we translate them, because we couldn't reach this ones? We only did like some of them.
I'm happy to translate. You don't need to do all that work. It is our cipher, after all. But these are just more of the ramblings of Marat. You see, I concentrated my studies on the histories, as wiser tieflings than I drove themselves quite mad, trying to chase down the subjects of all of his visions. You see, without context, who's to say what these mean or who they speak of? And he starts reading off these other ramblings of Marat to you, sort of within a dismissive way, as though you all will find them in your handouts now.
She just copies it.
And he sort of is like, well, you might see meaning in them that I cannot, but this is Marat. It is what he was good for. And he points to the first one. Water's fate revealed through chorus and song, when their voice strolls the land, the time shan't be long. Fire once drowned in death's embrace shall be reborn by water's grace.
Axel immediately looks over to Bruna.
Who probably actually wasn't paying attention at the time and was doing her morning exercise, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of he stares and looks back. Keep going.
Earth held captive by lies of light shall find release as tides clear the blight. And then he goes to the next one. In a chamber of echoes, air remains trapped and faceless. Through burden's trial be freed, or the world forever in stasis. Visions within visions, lines within lines, the frozen cradle the key, time upon time. And this one can be many and many can be one, timing is key for when it can be done. They were scratched all over his notes. Some just in the margins, others pieces that people put together because the meter seemed to fall into place. But who's to say?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, he sort of looks, actually gets out his own notes, kind of like this, and he shows up his own sort of writings where sometimes he's realized, like, oh, this little dream applies to this, and he's sort of scratched it on the side.
Right.
Just sort of drawn it on the side, and written it on the side, and so, well, I mean, I know these are useful, so that's, I mean, it might be ramblings, but I think it's useful. I think that, yeah, he did copy those notes down. Luna, do you want to
Kind of
come look at this?
Warming up. So.
Okay, I think it might be important.
Walk over.
And he'll sort of wait. Did we establish that Luna can read, or?
Well, at this
Luna
point,
can read.
Yeah, she can read, and I mean, at this point,
No,
no, we
I
absolutely
copied down what he
established she
wrote.
can read.
Yeah, I can't remember who. Yeah. Well, I think that does this seem familiar to you? Because the second sort of lines sounds like by agency that we rescued. Gandry. Because that reminds me. Gandry's is the others. Remind you of anyone?
Yeah.
More clues every day. Seems there's a little bit around. Just
See, after specifically like looking at that third line, I'm just gonna kind of tilt her head at it, and without explanation, kind of walk back off and go find somewhere and kneel and pray. Because she actually didn't do that yesterday. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah. Axel looks up to Tori and I think you said that, like, without context it made no sense, but we have context now. Yeah.
At the mention of the fifth line, Ishkin's head kind of stirs and he puts his hand up and says, "Frozen Cradle, Frost Prince's original home spheres," and then basically just drops his arm.
Wait,
Lines within lines, weave. Just exhausted and just trying to partake.
yeah, that's not how... He's found a puzzle.
Is Kel actually out at this point?
Yeah, I think we brought him out.
You're
You're
muted
out.
again, Jay.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to
Jay.
pop you out when she was.
Is he trying to
You're
talk to us?
muted,
you're
Jay
fine.
muted, Jay muted.
He's trying to talk to us.
She said you got you out before she started to train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, there's number 7 again.
So how much of that did I actually hear?
You could have been
That's what I'm
out.
trying
If she
to
was
do.
off training, she let you out before your training. So, or I
I
mean,
did
it's not like you could
finish
go forage unless you wanted to go forage in the vice outside the 60-foot radius.
No.
Figured not. So,
No. Kel will go up to Valturian after, when there's a point in the conversation. He will say, "How can I learn what you know? Can you teach me? Can you train me in anything?"
he just kind of looks at Kel. I can try. What? I'm mainly a scholar these days. What in particular are you?
I don't know. I mean, you obviously know so much more than I do. I don't know what I don't know.
Certainly. He seems almost confused by the request. You seem to have figured out the cipher, at least somewhat. But as far as my life has been dedicated to the protection of this seed, I'm not sure how much I have that I can teach you in the ways of druid craft or druidry. Druidry? Druidness?
Druidosity.
Right?
Druidosity?
Kel is just at a point of so much is happening around him, and I feel like let me do this in character. So much is happening around us. I feel like I know nothing. I know less than nothing. I thought for so many years that what I knew was enough for the world that I lived in, but the world I thought I lived in is just the barest covering on the surface of all of this. I mean, I'm not sure what I need, and you have obviously so many more skills than I do, not only in your learning, but in your connection with nature. You're capable of far more than I am. Is there anything?
I think our first challenge is you had talked, he sort of looks up to the group, talked of how you thought you perhaps could help with what is coming ahead. What all did you think you had to offer? Like I said, the ritual is... It's not so much about having enough power, it's about trying to control it. And he goes, the magical torrents that are outside of this, we need to somehow direct them to nurture the seed but not burn it up. As far as our destination, I only know of it in sketches and stories. If there was a way to somehow see where we were going, perhaps that could help.
You could,
Doesn't Iskrin have some sort of vision-based item?
Well, Iskrin can see what he calls the weave of magic, and how everything is connected. And I know that I've begun to see things as well. I've been able to start seeing lines of power that lay across the land, going back and forth, of different kinds. Nature and fire and...
You say nature?
And chaos.
Perhaps it is you who can teach me. It is the nature, raw nature magic is what is required for this. Can you only see it, or can you somehow guide it?
I've been able to touch it and use its power, but I don't know about controlling it.
Well, if that is something you could offer, that would greatly help our chances of success, to be able to somehow bring the nature magic to the Guardian, lifts up the Warpwood seed. That would be a mighty gift indeed.
Do we need to do this now, or where?
It will be in the moment. But if you've not done it before, perhaps... Do you have a way to practice? Do you have a way to see if you can hone your talent?
I don't know. I can try. And so I'm going to, number one, look around and see if there are any ley lines that I can perceive.
I mean, again, it's like being inside Star Trek warp tunnel. You see all different colors. They are zipping by rapidly. Certainly in the past when you have tried to help with your vision, Iskrin has been able to assist in you being able to pick them out and see them better, as he has a bit more of a handle on the weave and the ley line, the energy that flows through them.
Is Iskrin, back done yet, or do I
mean,
need to wait for him to...
If you finished your long rest, you are back to normal, Iskrin.
Yeah, he's still laying down on the ground. He's thinking. He's in deep thought at the moment.
I go over to Iskrin and say, Iskrin, I need your help.
Okay. He's gonna stand up. He's gonna dust himself off. He's gonna look over at Valkyrian.
That'd be Valkyrian. Yes, not Valkyrian. Valkyrian would be the Griffin, but okay.
Haven't met him.
Yeah, that's true.
And just look at him. What do I see in his wave?
You see a lot of nature. Again, not nearly the anchor that Kel is, but certainly has nature magic within him, as you would expect a druid to.
Hand goes on the chin, and I say to Val, You've touched us. How do you transport the seed?
He's basically, at this point, he's sort of packing up camp, as in that we need to get on the road. And as you say that, he's kind of like, what? As he's looks back over his shoulder, he's got it in his hands.
You possess... Kel, could you go touch the seed, please?
No.
No, do not do that.
How close was I to Valturian?
At that point, you had gone over to Iskrin, remember? So
Right.
So yeah, you're too far away to have just reached out. Valturian looks at you strangely and goes, "Oh, it doesn't know you yet."
What?
At that point, Luna turns to Iskrin. What did you do?
I fed it.
What?
I fed it.
He touched it.
It took.
Iskrin's in a chokehold.
Mystic
But-
J.
I was gonna say you can Misty Step because yes, magic can be used
Yes,
here.
waste that right now.
Yeah. Nah, fair enough. I'll take the grapple.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can do that if you want. I mean, it's up to you. You're either in the hole or not.
No, I've missed the chokehold.
It's been
He's missed
so
it.
long.
Yes. Aww.
Kel says, Luna, I know he deserves it, but I do need his help.
I'm not killing him yet.
Yes, but he still needs to be able to talk to me
What?
coherently.
Do not touch it again.
I know.
Drop.
I know. Look
I
at
hope-
luck. Look at luck. I know.
Iskrin,
Yes.
can you help me focus my sight again? I need to see the lines of power more clearly. I need to be able to separate them out and find which is which.
Okay. So what Ishran's going to do? He's going to take you by the hand and move you over towards the seed, and he's going to deliberately place us standing side by side on a thread of the nature weave.
Nature Weaves, you don't see it coming through here. You have to go to the edge of sort of the barrier. I mean, yeah, where you, from what your experiences with Kel, he sees the energy, you see the weave itself. In here, you're not seeing energy flow through like it normally would. It's flowing around this space. So, but yes, you could certainly go over to the edge. And
So are the lines like avoiding this bubble?
correct.
Then just kind of going around it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to take him to that line, and still within the area of the bubble, so we're still not affected by the chaos that's outside the bubble. I'm going to take Lyle, I'm going to take his hand, I'm going to put his hand on Lyle as well, and we're going to connect Lyle into that basically wrapping around bubble of the weave,
Okay.
and try to just try to relate how, like getting to see through this connection, through my eyes, through Lyle as a conduit, and try to transfer just a little bit of knowledge and just
Okay.
mention to him, okay, focus.
So I need you to do. I want you to do Arcana, and I'm going to have Kel do a survival.
Oh, I can't even see it yet. Oh no, don't get her roll 20. Damn it.
Cool. So, Danny, I need you to do a lay harmony check if you remember how to do that.
I have it open because that's what I was going for.
Yep, I had it open too in case you didn't remember.
Well, I had it open. Where did it go? There it is.
So yeah, DC 14.
Seriously? Yeah. So I roll a D3.
D3. So yeah, Constitution
Just
saving
Constitution
throw.
save.
That's a fail. So roll me a d4. So 3. So as this through the sword, you actually do come in contact with a line of nature, but this is a maelstrom that you've basically just stuck a lightning rod through. The line basically pulls up Lyle and into your hand, and you're able to hold it. You are actually now holding like truly a live wire of natural magic that's actually flowing inside of the seed now. However, it is using your body as the anchor, and it is burning through your body, and you take 3 points of constitution damage as this is literally burning every cell in your body.
Can I feel that happening to him?
You actually need to roll me 2d12.
Yay! I take that in as a note that though he's conducting it.
Yep.
I want to figure out if he can transfer it.
So yeah, you take 12 hit points worth of damage.
Yay!
As you are basically have your hand, your hand is on his hand and on Lyle, as you said. That perhaps you might not want to grab onto a high voltage line next time, but
it's fine. I'm gonna figure this out now before he does. Well, later.
It is better to figure it out now. I will say with that, you hold it as long as you can, Kel, and you could attempt to keep a hold of it, but at this point, it's your call whether you want to try to keep a hold of it or to try again later. It will become harder and harder to successfully hold it within here, even more so than just a lay harmony, as on successive terms of holding it at this point in your training. But it's probably worth trying it multiple times before getting there.
Yes, I think this is good for an initial attempt, and I will, I will let it go. But before I do, I want to close my eyes and just feel what, holding this.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's
basically this pulsing line of pure nature.
Yeah. Give me
feels like
a just give me a wisdom. It's going to be a survival. It's not really a survival, but I want your wisdom with proficiency, which is survival. So go for it. Just roll a survival as you try to sort of attune to this. I mean, you can feel that harmony within it. You can feel a connection with it, but at this point, it is truly causing you too much pain to really sort of bond with it at this point. But yeah, no, you've succeeded on this, so that's great.
Okay, and then just one last time, just mentally, thanking the power of nature before I release it back into its uncontained natural state.
Okay. During this, as I was saying, Volturian is still sort of packing up, tents down. Anyone else, a lot of conversation can happen while we're walking. So,
just out of curiosity, what do other people see while I'm doing that?
They see you and Iskrin holding hands and a sword.
Julia just looks over and raises an eyebrow.
Luna's
And then
Add another talk.
She's gonna lean over to Iska and say, "Well, it looks like I have competition."
He likes the elves, man.
Iska leans over and says, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I guess you could start walking around with your shirt off all the time, too, but...
Yeah, so Volturian is sort of, at this point, by my calculations, we should arrive in about 4 days. So we have some time. I mentioned...
We could make that 2 days?
Hmm?
I think we can make that 2 days.
Dragon Striding?
Yeah. Yeah. We could make that 2 days.
That
he holds up the
could be
gemstone that he has prepared. But I haven't packed up anything because he's basically been working the whole time.
I want you to do me a... Go ahead and do me a history check with advantage. Oh, good, 27.
Have we mentioned this channel is run 100% for charity? Thank you all for joining. This month's charity is the World Wildlife Foundation. There are donations below, or you can go to the website itself and see if there are volunteer opportunities in your area. If you choose to donate below the this month only level is you can donate $50 to give one of us a mount. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Enough. Got it.
Yeah. So
your call entirely. Your call entirely.
He hasn't read that yet. He hasn't read it yet. So
I'm saying from your notes. I was going by your notes.
All right.
Your notes, not necessarily the book. But that's a question of if you've read the book or not. So your call.
He hasn't made the connection quite yet.
Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah. So we can travel faster. So
certainly
sooner. But if you want, we could go slower to figure out what we're doing. Yeah, this is excellent character.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
I think what lies ahead is inevitable. It might as well be faced as well as not.
Yeah, it's up to you guys. We can slow down. And I need to pack up. He is surrounded by books and notes as he's been puzzling over this new set of clues.
Yep.
And he starts packing up everything. Give someone help get down on the cart.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
People get everything packed up, and you cast Dragon Stride?
Yep.
Very good. So, the world, it's already, for Kel and Iskrin, it's already a strange world. Now you guys are involved in the strange world of it, as well as the familiar effects of Dragon Stride overtake you. As you guys walk, this is the first time Dustin's experienced this. He seems a little bit taken aback again, wondering what all he has gotten himself into.
Luna, as a note, is keeping an eye on him, sort of. Not right next to him, but
yeah. He kind of sees you. I assume are Luna and Iska walking together as they kind of normally do?
Yes, unless Iska says otherwise.
No, I think so. Because I think Iska's keeping an eye on Dustin from the revelations of last night, but also kind of keeping an eye on Luna. Because, I think Iska understands, what this revelation is to Luna, and, is very optimistic, but very nervous about what Luna is willing to do to make this happen, and, is almost afraid of her...
to be in.
What?
That is a good fear to have.
Iska's almost afraid of her acting irrationally because of this. Because of this vision of something that was never thought possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we have a trifecta of looking at each other going on?
Gotcha. So, no, Dustin kind of sees you guys looking after him, and you see him sort of fumble around in his pack, and he, as you guys are walking, as it still will be a full day, it's just you get further. He comes up to you, and you see him carefully approach, and he has sort of this folded bundle of oilcloth in his hand. And just starts talking. Talarian. He sort of smiles. Talarian began joining me in my hunting through that winter, and while Lily insisted her friend join us every single night for dinner, she and Talarian came to an arrangement, some agreement that even I didn't fully understand. Involved the cycles of the moon and the change of the seasons and days of the week. But it was all about when he would next arrive. And without error or fail, we learned that when Lily would announce in the morning that her friend would be arriving to dinner, even if we hadn't seen him in months, Talarian would be there at our door that evening. Always with a full pack, not for us, but with rare materials and goods he had tracked down with his skills for us to sell. Talarian spoke more and more to me on our hunts and around the dinner table over the following year. We had fierce debates about the natural world and civilization. Both of us, I believe, possibly, broadening the perspectives of each other. The necessity of farming to feed a growing and ever denser population, as well as the need to preserve all of the wild places of the earth. Lily took to mediating these debates, and when discussions got too heated, she would place a finger across our lips and say, "That's enough. Time to let everyone be happy," and then present her doll with a normal, "Kiss the baby. Okay, all better now." Talarian arrived for dinner on schedule in the early spring the next year, with a gift from his mother, especially for Sarah and Lily this time. A dozen white daylily bulbs and an iridescent white daylily bloom that looked just picked, even though surely daylilies hadn't been blooming since last summer. Sarah joyfully planted the bulbs the next day as we bid Talarian farewell, only Lily knowing for sure when he would return. Little did I know then that it would be all the planting I would see that year. You see, an undetected leak had spoiled the community's seed. We would have to borrow gold from the contract to even buy enough new seed to make rent for the land if something couldn't be arranged. And as the only person in our community skilled in anything more than farming, I took it upon myself and conscripted into a caravan as a guard for enough gold to furnish seed for the whole season. Somehow Lily understood that I was leaving, and her usual, "Kiss the baby, okay, all better now," seemed to comfort her far more than me as she went back to play. I'd signed on with the caravan for a round trip, just to High Mountain back. It was an eventful journey, and I honed the skills Talarian had taught me and even expanded on them as I learned from experience and the more senior gods who traveled with us. I proved myself to be a trustworthy and hard worker, and the caravan master, Tristan, took note of me. So in the fall, when I returned, to help with the last of the harvest, I also carried an offer as well. I sat Sarah and Lily down at our small table by our familiar hearth and presented to them what Tristan had proposed. His next trip would be to Torvolio, on the other side of the Vice. It would take more than a year to complete the round trip, but it would provide enough money to fill the full remainder of the contract on the land for the community. Just a single year apart, would bring the dream of a generation to all of us. My dear Sarah, so self-reliant and resilient, just squared her shoulders and steeled herself, knowing this was just the continuation of the path that her grandfather had begun, and she herself had continued, and now was being carried on by the next generation, as the young of the village would rise in the dark each morning, preparing carts of all they could spare and offer and taking it to market for sale. Lily, my child of mist and moonlight, she took it in stride. Time for everyone to be happy now. It's okay. My friend is on a long trip, too, was all she said before presenting Bebe for a kiss and returning to the sing-song melody she was humming. We arranged a meeting with Tristan, the community elder and the lord of the next day, and it was done. The land was ours, to cultivate, manage, defend, to found a new life for ourselves. The community would just work one more growing season while the Lord found new tenants, and then head out midwinter the next year to arrive in time to build shelter and clear the new land and get the first crop in the ground. I gathered maps and reports and arranged for blazes to be left along their path, as I would have to meet them there in the summer, hopefully in time for the Feast of Midsummer, having fulfilled my contract with Tristan. The Harvest Festival that year was grand. A huge celebration as word of the contract fulfillment spread, with the whole community celebrating and being joined by many from the surrounding area, both to congratulate us, I think, but then also to scout out the land we were leaving behind, so perhaps they could be the new ones to work it. Late into the night, the celebration lasted with much debate on the name of what our new village would be, and at last we arrived at something we all could accept: Tilla's Grove. The winter went past quickly, as everyone was busy preparing for the journey ahead. Even though it was still a year away, moving a community is not a trivial task, and much planning and preparation was needed to be done. We laid out Tilla's Grove with places for homes and orientation of fields, plans for a grain mill on the stream to be constructed while the first crops grew, everything our village would need. My own preparations needed to be completed quickly, as I'd be leaving in the spring with Tristan, and upon return would go straight to Tilla's Grove, my new home. The days quickly began to grow longer, and I helped Sarah tend her daylily bulbs, both of us with heavy hearts. And then I once again left my Sarah and my Lily to complete the final step of fulfilling our dream. I was heartbroken saying goodbye, but I reassured myself that sometimes dreams needed to be protected by action instead of just faith in order to come true. He starts to choke up. If I had just... And you noticed that through this telling of his story, he's unwrapped the oilcloth bundle that he had in his hands. Within it is a simply made corn husk doll, a perfectly white daylily that looks like it had just been picked. Dustin shakes his head and sort of puts his hand again on them and says, "I will be with you," and walks away. Anything else folks are doing while you travel?
I would like to say to Kel, after going through and experiencing that, I'd say, look, I'm sorry, that was a lot at one time. Probably the wrong place to do it, but I think if we get out of the vice, this should become a ritual. For you to be able to harness the weave, nature, I think this will be a good starting point, at least. Something less chaotic.
Well, best to know the worst that can happen right up front.
Oh, that's not the worst. Go touch the seat.
I think that's something quite a bit different than this.
Hmm. You really are soul burdened. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to be the shield as well. Shield of this, I hope. Make sure you're protected when it happens. And at least have an idea of what to do, because I'm figuring this out too.
Well, you know more than I do. Everybody seems to know more than I do.
And
I'll
just make it up as we go.
Well, okay, you do some of that, but I won't be able to do anything without your help.
All of our help. We gotta go through this together.
Kel just nods and remains silent.
Axel, you were saying you're up reading your books in the wagon?
Yes. Yeah, so Axel's had a lot to think of, and he's hopped up on the wagon and he's going through the books. He's got the book that he actually got the night before, lasted through the night because he picked it up, but he hadn't really read it. He sort of looked at the title. Oh, that's interesting. And then he noticed something in the wrap. The four different nasi, or 4 different elements that it's mentioned there. And he sees 4, and he goes back to the book. 4 is not a number in there. But he reads through it, and he calls over Iska. And Iskrin, actually, it's come here. I found something. So he gets the book out. So this book's about the magical numbers, the numbers that sort of show up commonly in spells, and they're good magical structures. So it's 2, 3, 5, 7, 23, 13, a couple of other ones, but it's about cycles. And I know this because when I cast spells, there's a lot of cycles, there's similar things you do again and again, and they make it stronger, more enhanced. When you're making a more powerful spell, you do another cycle of 3 or 5 or 7. And he gets out his notes in looking through all these things here. It's after the convergence, it's 49 days.
Yeah.
7 times 7.
Mm-hmm.
When Flora has been here for just about 7 centuries since the gates opened, brought her here. So there's a couple of others. There's the Day of Blood, 21 years ago. 3 times 7. It's here. It's a pattern. There's a couple of other ones. There's a pattern. I don't know exactly how it applies, but it's cropped up a couple more times. It's 72. Yeah. 72 years since the creation of the device. Multiple of 7.
Would you say that every cycle there's a tragedy? Like the Day of Blood is? Going through the cycles, it seems that every time as a cycle happens, something unbelievably bad happens.
I wouldn't say that. If something powerful and important is going to happen, I would think it happens on those times. But I mean, I'm not really sure. But I was sort of going through my notes, and we've been on the road for a long time, and well, I'm thinking we've been on the road for 45 days, so 46. If we took the we arrived in the center of the vice. In the normal time, it would have been 49 days since we first met. Since I met Luna in the forest, and Iska and Luck and Kel sort of showed up in the grotto. I think that's 7 times 7. It's going to be a focal point, a point of power in a couple of days. So
do we slow down? Do we wait? Do we wait for the right time?
Do we want to just go there? We could slow down, or we could just go there and wait. But if we do it then, it's going. Whatever we do, probably be because it'll be in sync with the magical sort of cycle. It will be better. It will be more reliable. It will be powerful. And I think that would be a good idea.
Maybe Kel even will have a better chance at that point. Whatever's happening, maybe it'll be funneled a little bit easier to grasp.
Yeah. I think it will be a good.
7 is 7 6 is 7.
Yeah. Could have been any number, but it was 7. Like 7 is a sort of repeating one. It's got 5s and it's got 3s, so 7's very common.
And we had a fun little group of 6 for a long time before you showed up, Iskren.
But 7 is...
Now there's 7 of us. 7 titles.
There's more power in numbers than there are in names.
Well, it depends on what you're talking about, because sometimes names can be very, very powerful. If you're talking about... I don't know a lot about them, but demons, devils, there's a lot of power in their names. And our celestial beings as well. But yeah, if you're talking about like structures for spells and cycles, yeah, numbers are very powerful.
I would like to, while he's talking about true names, I'd like to look at Dustin and try to get a read on his true name.
Insight check, sure.
That's a stretch.
Yep.
It's Justin.
I mean, Dustin.
Yeah, because you're talking magical true names at the core of it.
Yeah, I know,
essence
but
being, but it's like that. You don't just pick that up.
Yeah, I was trying to use the weave and everything, but it's just like,
You're specifically in a non-weave affected zone. Good luck with that.
I was thinking, he's a good guy.
I mean, it's Dustin Shadow Step. If
Yeah.
Iska this whole time is just like beaming with pride at Axel, and then like kind of looks to Iskren for a second with like squinted eyes. If was that made clear at all that Iskren was doing that? Like, did you say that out loud or anything, or is that just?
No, it's just turning straight to Dustin and just blinking a couple of times and just like really giving him the strained eye stare. Just trying to see into his soul, but...
You okay there, Iskren?
Yeah. Good. Really good. Just looks him up and looks Dustin up and down. Dustin, how'd you get your shard?
Through the guild.
Go on.
The Vice Runners. We have guild halls on both sides. You turn them in. We don't own them.
Oh.
Iska looks at Iskren and says, "You were quite the brainstormer," but then turns to Axel and says, "But I'm so glad you're the brains."
Yeah, I mean, if it was just him, we'd be blowing up in the middle of the Vice, all sorts of horrible things, because you remember, do you remember the Vice surge from before when we were at the temple? If he'd done that, someone would have shrunk until they disappeared entirely, and that happening. Don't cast spells on the device, Iskrin.
Huh? What?
No.
Oh. And then he just looks at Celia and just goes, I'm not doing anything. I'm okay.
Luna's
Is
gonna
that
lean
the-
Yeah,
over.
Celia, where are you about
Yeah.
in this 60-foot radius that you guys are kind of confined to? Actually,
Even
yeah,
in the 60
30
foot
foot.
radius.
30 foot actually, because you're
Celia
dragon stepping along with it. Yeah.
Even in the 60-foot radius, Dillian's doing her rogue thing off to the side.
So give me a perception check.
Okay.
Do you hear us being mean?
Gross.
That's enough. It's actually enough because you all. It's more about how elegantly you perceive. You basically trip. There's a smashed crate there, and as you sort of trip over it, Iskrin all but trips over you, and Iska trips over the two of you. It is the most roguety rogue thing you've ever seen. With that +8 to dexterity, rolling a 2, that would be. But as you all kind of untangle yourself, Celia, you find yourself basically flat out lying in front of you, a potion of superior healing and a potion of invisibility. Iska, you find a potion of climbing. And, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I got that backwards. You find a potion of diminionation, shrinking. Diminionation, that word.
Diminution?
Yes.
Diminution.
Smallarizing.
There it is, diminution.
Let the music man do it.
And Iskrin, you find your favorite. Man, you roll these up all the time. A potion of climbing. I think you got like 3 of them.
No, that is fire giant strength.
Oh, that's right. I knew you had a bunch of them, of one of a kind. But yeah, so you guys found that, so we can take care of that business. Thank you for our donations on the potion punch bowl.
Well, I guess that means once Iska gets her spider mount, Iskrin can follow her up the wall.
Exactly.
You just have to ruin good things, don't you?
And speaking of mounts, can you look perhaps at the donation that came in during that last scene?
Oh, I need to, because yeah, actually I had my script over, so I missed it. Oh my gosh. Wait a second. No, sorry. I saw the 150 I put in for the whatever. But Tunarth gives $50. A mount for luck appropriate to someone from the mountains. A tame giant mountain goat complete with a mountain goat jumping capabilities, if the DM will allow. I will certainly allow a giant, a tame giant mountain goat. It's going to be interesting to see how, this mount story y'all are going to find is just going to be incredible, man.
I think I just slayed good guy.
You did.
So
actually,
are
this
we no
is
longer
yeah,
playing D&D and playing Goat Simulator instead? That's what I'm hearing.
Spider pet I brought. Oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that to Iska. I put that into your unaccounted for, dude. I can't have a spider pet for an unwilling pet owner. On that note, though, it is 4:00. We're halfway through our episode, and I'm going to go ahead and why don't we do our quick break? We'll do Pun of the Week. We also will talk a little bit more. Again, as you just saw, we have donations that come in that can affect how the game goes. And yeah, we will be coming back right afterwards to sort of finish up to see what else is going to be occurring as we continue our traverse now in a very normal dragon stridey way through the vice. So I will leave you to our good friend Alicia while I quickly go take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Thank you very much, Jay. So again, welcome to the Vice. Thank you all for joining. This channel is run 100% for charity. We have various charity donation levels below. They involve a D10 healing dice and advantage, as demonstrated by the wonderful Tunarth. There's a this month's only level based on our charity for this month, which is the World Wildlife Foundation. Go ahead and click on their, I think the banner will take you to donate, and I think we also link the website below so you can check out, see if there are any volunteer events in your area, or if you want to do your own volunteer events, all that information is below. But if you choose to donate to the channel, again, D20s, all sorts of good stuff. This month only, you can donate a mount to the party for the next step of our journey. I believe currently Iska has a mount, Luck has a mount, and Eskrin has a mount. So it's still, so if you want, and you can only donate one mount per person. So that still leaves Axel and Celia and Luna and wait, is that it? Is that 3? What am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, and Cal. Yes, there we go.
In the context of what?
The mounts. I was saying you didn't have one yet. If somebody chose to donate at that level, but again, please don't feel pressure to donate if it is not within their financial means. Completely understand. You can do things like share us on Facebook or Twitter, any kind of social media. Greatly appreciated. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you for joining.
So, are you happy with your future mount?
Pretty good.
I thought that was a good one.
He shall be called Leaper, and he shall leap and bound everywhere, and I shall love him forever and ever.
Nice. Well, I would do Pun Belief, but there aren't enough people back yet.
You'll need to come up with some sort of secure pouch or something for grain to ride in so he doesn't get flung off.
No, just make a pouch between the horns for grain. Bet it deep. Perfect.
Because as we all know, that's what heroes ride in when they are delivering justice. Not a white horse, not a giant spider, not a scorpion, not a dragon. No, that is not hero material. Giant goats.
I think you definitely should become a goat lancer.
Dude, Thor from the comic books had 2 goats he rode with.
That's true.
Awesome.
Goats, they are the humble man's hero.
Also, they can eat basically anything.
Perfect for me, as you can tell. The most humble of people.
Yeah, I do like a goat's taste and ability to eat basically anything in the world. Is a nice.
I was going to say it is a very practical mount.
How do we get out of this jail cell? Eat the bars.
Kinda.
Yes,
Can we make it
seeing Luck as he loses his mind, basically riding around the countryside on the back of the goat, basically jousting with windmills. I mean, it's how legends begin. I'm just saying.
Luck Quixote.
Luck Quixote.
Luck Quixote. But before we get back, because that's mostly. Oh, and then Celia left. Whatever. Close enough.
She's back.
Oh, there she is. She's back. See. And Vax is distracted. Did Vax just run into the table or something? I'm guessing that's why she's laughing.
Yes, something along the. There definitely was Vax.
Vax failed his athletics check.
Oh.
To jump onto the bed.
Oh.
Poor guy.
Poor little Vax. But since we still have time, it is time for everybody's favorite segment, Fun of the Week.
Yeah.
What is the best thing about learning sign language?
I don't know. What is the best thing about learning sign language?
It's handy. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. You're
God.
welcome.
Why are we willingly subjecting ourselves to this?
I don't know.
Hold on, I need to think. I used to know how to say bugger off in sign language. Hold on.
I mean, I only know a few things. I remember
Yeah,
my
I know a
favorite thing,
couple.
though. My favorite thing is...
It was very useful.
Okie dokie. So we'll get back into it. We've passed through lunch at this point. we're in the afternoon, coming upon potentially evening. You still have a couple more hours in your dragon stride rune, to make time. I need for Kel to make me a willpower charisma saving throw. Okay. As you are walking and riding, your mind is distracted. You certainly were excited about your success at harnessing the ley line, but even the toll that took on your body, while you're not exhausted in the actual mechanics sense, it's certainly that you've taken some serious damage to your body, but more importantly, the ring on your finger, there's the worry of that as well. It still sort of pulses away there. The visions of Talarian's last days, they're sort of plaguing you now. Not always taking over your consciousness or the heavy visions that you've had previously, but it's almost like they're almost running in the background, like an earworm, a song that you can't get out of your head. You relive the ambush of the hounds, and with your success you just had with the ley lines, this little piece almost resonates a little bit more, because you're now seeing Talarian see your denial of that ley magic within the geyser, that you sort of turned away from, angry that it had distracted you, and your feelings led to the ambush that happened to your party. You see that brash charge that you made into Reginald's basement through the darkness with no blind sight as a dire wolf. Your vow of enmity with Tian, you see that all over again. And you see and feel Talarian's memories, now this scratch that has become almost like a festering wound in his psyche. His memories of you are beginning to sour as the ring is showing them as your denial of nature, or your denial of things that you don't understand or things that you haven't experienced, this sort of general unacceptance of anything that you don't know or understand. The ring has latched on to one scene in particular that it seems to replay to Talarian over and over, more often than any of the rest. Kel's encounter with the druids at Mims, and Kel's conversation with Iska. Your words, to use the gifts they were given for coin, for pay, it disgusts me and I want nothing to do with them. Those words just, you see as they keep echoing in Talarian's mind, more and more frequently, hammering home the ring's message, and slowly, as Talarian is becoming more and more exhausted on his journey through the vice, his memories darken of Kel with every blow that the ring seems to be hammering into his head. Luck. So, you didn't sleep yet. You didn't sleep last night.
No.
So you're suffering from a point of exhaustion, unless you are wanting to go sleep in the wagon, which is certainly possible. What are your thoughts? What are you wanting to do? Are you going to try to stay awake?
Luke's going to keep trying. He's clearly sort of paranoid about something, and sort of always watching over his back, and he's just sort of keeping a constant eye out on stuff as he's sort of walking forward.
as well.
Okay. Are you walking or are you riding in the wagon?
He'd be walking.
Okay. It's nice because Grain, for once, is actually out and walking next to you. Sort of always kind of, brushing up against your ankles or whatever, just to sort of let you know that he is there. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. A 14. You weren't necessarily listening in to what you sort of deemed a private conversation between Dustin and Luna and Iska, but you couldn't help but, it was sort of playing in the background of your thoughts as you were walking. And that weird sense of connection, almost like deja vu, keeps revisiting you. There's something that you don't quite... There's something that's just weighing heavily on your mind as you guys continue through the end of the day. What's everyone else up to as we're getting to probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon? You have not seen anything cross your path, which is very odd, seeing as pretty much every 2 hours, things seem to be attacking you before. A couple times you've seen things up in the road, but they have fled from your approach. And nothing seems to have entered within the 60-foot radius of the seed, much less the 30-foot radius of the Dragon Stride. Other than a crate that you all tripped over.
Kel is doing his usual, even that we're traveling, just kind of staying outside the cart and I guess being either in the front or the back, depending on where Cilia isn't.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll say you guys are doing your normal orbit,
Yeah, and just not really focusing on anybody else, but keeping my attention focused outward.
Right. You do notice, especially after your experience this morning, you are having an easier time picking out different lines and their different magical properties just outside the bubble after your experience this morning.
Okay.
And it's no longer peripheral. It is, you can look and see.
Okay, I'm going to, one thing I want to be sure to be able to do is practice kind of, for lack of a better terminology, turning it on and off.
Ooh, okay, that's going to be a charisma saving throw. That's a willpower piece of...
Because I want to be able to not see it, but be able to, like music in the grocery store, either focus on it or let it become background.
Yep. So, that'd be a charisma. I'm going to do check. I don't think it's a save. I'm not sure. It's probably the same for you. Druids don't have charisma proficiency.
No, it's the same thing, essentially.
So yeah, do me a charisma saving throw. Look at that. Double nat 20s. Wham. Yeah, man, I got not shit to say about that because this is good. I was going to have you have to succeed at 3, but on a double nat 20 on that, astonishingly, and perhaps it was from, Iskrin's influence or maybe Lyle's influence. You don't know what it was. Something, even you feel that it shouldn't have been this easy. But yeah, you're able to turn it right off. And then almost with
sometimes
worry...
it just clicks somehow and there's like a light bulb moment.
Yeah, it's like calculus. All of a sudden you know how to do it. But like I said, it's either...
That is untrue of calculus too. False advertising.
For me, it was like that. I couldn't do it, and then I could do it. Anyway, regardless. For whatever reason, suddenly what was so foreign to you, and maybe it's even the vision somewhat, of it being this now sort of acceptance or this seeing from the outside. I don't know if you want to color it that way or not. Something has made it so that you're able to turn this on and off in a very remarkable way, so that it is, after having days of it truly being this huge detriment to you, it does not seem to be that way now. Wow,
Cool.
double nat 20s. Wham! No proficiency either.
Woohoo!
Look at you. I await the double nat ones.
I've already had those.
It's true. Doors, man.
I would like to try pry Dustin for information about the Vice Runners Guilds, where they get the shards from, and what they think the shards are for.
Yeah. So he starts saying, he's actually relatively new to the Vice Runners Guild. He has not been with them terribly long, and that he just knows that the guild has a certain number of them, and they very much have to make sure there's an even distribution from east and west. Sometimes people do get to carry an extra shard just because they need to get it transported to the other side, knowing sort of how I'll call it the currents of the vice go back and forth. But as far as that, other than that, he doesn't know much about the shards themselves or from whence they came. Just that there are some very wealthy caravanners who have more than a shard, that they have a larger piece or chunk that they use. But he is I mean, if you looked at his weave, he's a ranger, so he's a quarter caster. I mean, he's got a little bit of nature weave going on him, but nothing of any. And he seems to definitely focus more on the skills of archery, not any magical. As for someone who runs the Vice, you'd be all about your non-magical skills, not any sort of magical enhancement of your shots.
Yeah. Do I get like any names any name of merchants from him? Who would have these larger shards?
I mean, you don't. I mean, basically, he states, a lot of the times the larger caravans that go through don't use the Vice Runners. They have their own guards. Mim doesn't use Vice Runners. Any of the larger caravans that probably have these crystals, probably are not going to pay for Vice Runners. It would be very rare. And so it's just sort of, people, in his guild hall might talk about that. It's almost with disdain that they look at the people who don't hire them, as you would. And it's sort of like one of those things. Oh, he's probably one of those guys who has his own crystals, jackass,
Then I'd like to go over to try to find Celia.
I mean, she's within 30-foot radius of the wagon of the wagons.
But she's a rogue.
That's true.
Yeah, stealthy, and she got invisibility potion. She doesn't need me anymore. She's good.
Yeah.
Celia has gone ultimate rogue.
Yes, they're in the middle of a clear road with only a wagon. She is completely undetectable.
There's a head scratch.
No, she's not hiding.
Yeah, you can find her.
Okay. And there's just heading over to Celia and just, so, parents. You said yesterday your parents sucked the life out of you? What?
That is Squid. He remembers everything.
Okay.
What?
I don't like my parents.
Oh, okay.
Not good people.
What'd they do? if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. That's okay. I mean,
No, it's fine. They sent my sister away.
wow. Where?
Hold on, I can barely hear. Hold on, let me turn up. Alright, speak.
Where?
That's better.
Thank you.
To my aunt's. Let me get where my aunt is from. Hold on. Give me a moment. This is in my notes.
Sorry.
On my phone.
Sorry. Just brainstorming.
It is all the way down in my notes. Okay.
You got it, or you need me to get it?
Yep, I got it. I want to make sure that it's the right one. I have Zephyrbrook.
Yep.
Okay. My aunt, she was sent to my aunt in Zephyrbrook.
I don't know where that is. To be fair. But why? Like,
Because they did not accept her.
oh.
She is a child of the lost.
Oh. Wow. That's incredible, but how... That's wonderful. What is she? She's fire, water, air? Earth?
She is Earth. Her name is Tara.
Tara?
Tara.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, well, that's cool. It must be nice to have parents. Even though you hate them.
To me, my aunt was my parent.
Oh. That's good. I think. I don't know. I still don't understand the concept of a parent. The
The people who birthed you.
Well, not birthed, more so formed and created as a wisp of part of their essence. That's what we are.
Celia will start giving Iskrin the talk. You know, when a mom...
Again, yes.
I remember this.
You hear Lyle chime in, I already tried.
Pretty sure somebody's given him the talk sometime before, haven't they?
At this point, we're up to 3.
3.
And that goes on for a bit of time, and then he's just like, oh.
Celia will go into full detail.
Wow, you do?
Celia will go into full detail.
Okay, is this actually the talk, or are you flirting? I'm confused now.
Bit of both, I think.
Let's say both.
What colors does Iskrin turn?
Actually, yeah, he does. He colors change from his dour winter blues and greys to his robes turn a deep purple, like deep velvet purple. His eyes become like his eyes go amber, and so does all his tattoos, and he's just like, that's odd. And he just like feels himself over. He just looks startled.
Purple and amber, go Lakers.
Unintentional. He looks completely overwhelmed and overcome with contentment, but like tranquil but confused at the same time. It just stays like that for a bit. It's just like, oh wow, Wow.
Thank you, Sunriel, for the $3 donation.
Thank you.
Poor puppy. Poor puppers.
He just looks at her and just goes, "Have you?"
What?
And then just looks at everyone else and just go, "Have they?"
I have 3 children. Well, 2, technically, or whatever.
Yeah, I want to see if anybody around is listening.
It is 30. It is a 30-foot
Look, I
radius.
think we
Other
can't
than,
argue
other than
about
Cal,
it.
who's got lots of things going on in his head, probably.
Just everybody listening to Celia explain to Iskren how babies are born.
What do you think people do in their spare time?
You've done it 3 times?
That's a statement. I'm married. I'm a minor. I don't read. I can't read. I'm a bit too big to read now.
Well, I could read,
Well, I can't.
but I don't know how. You got one up on me then. I don't know how to. I don't know how to kid. How do you parent? It's called.
Luna's going to chime in and say, "You do not need to learn that."
Not yet.
Ever.
Have you?
Oh god,
Hold
I'm
on,
crying.
Was Isker talking to Luna with that last have you?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay,
Just in your-
she looks for Luna mildly confused. I'm the one who spoke to you of this before. What do you think?
Well, yeah. No.
Put it together.
Axel sort of pops his head up. I don't think he's gotten to the point yet. And he goes back to reading.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yes. Is that right? Yes. I guess. I don't know.
How many lives have you had?
Lyle, remind me.
Oh, God. So many. And it's like this every single time.
Did I in past?
Hmm?
Did I in past lives?
In past
Did
lives?
I parent? Yeah, did I parent?
No.
Oh, good. Is that good? Is that good?
Yes,
Honestly, I don't know.
it is good. Iskrin,
Yes?
don't worry about it now. When it comes to that, just listen to her.
I put my hand up for a high five. An elvish high five. So it's like very, very dainty handle.
Elegant high five.
And I say in elvish, parenting, eh? Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh god,
This is not the conversation I expect to have
No,
today.
it's not.
After everything that's happened, I think it's the conversation that needed to happen.
Kel is actively not listening.
He's like, drown it out. Not gonna listen to it.
I've had enough of this guy for one day.
It's like, all we did was hold hands. I don't want him to get any ideas.
No kidding from that guy. This elf boy.
We'll say that after an awkward amount of time has passed. Wait a second, Iska's got something. Go for it.
I thought Axel had something. I saw
Oh,
the
Axel.
figure.
So any sort of time during the trip he wants to talk to, once he's figured out the clues, to talk to about Torin. So we want to get there. We've gone 2 days by the end of today, and
well, no, 50% faster. You've gone a day and a half.
Oh, day and a half. Well, yeah, we want to go slower so we get there, so it matches up with the 49 days from when some of us first met, and I think that would help your ritual be a day of importance. But
that's interesting. Numbers are very important. They're littered through the whole thing. I mean, as you can see, we've spent 72 years with the different numbers and things trickling in.
Yeah. And then it's between 49 days we met, and then it'll be 49 days after the seventh convergence or something like that, and it'll be 700 years or roughly since things happened. And 98 years.
Yes.
This is all sort of tied back because we're here to fix the vice, but we're also trying to deal with the Netherwings as well. It's part of a bigger story.
He just sort of he goes, there are he, almost as though almost in a familiar way as Grom, he says, let's deal with one thing at a time, but certainly, certainly the Netherwings can't be dealt with until we fix or somehow try to correct what's gone wrong with magic.
I was just talking about, because it was like 700 years since something of the Netherwings, I think, when they first arrived or something like that. But 98 years ago was when they showed up again. You remember that, the grounding, you think you call it?
Yes.
Yeah, so lots of sevens, and 7 of us, and
it's interesting. We've from your friend, your strange friend.
I think we're all a bit strange.
Yes. He told us it's 49 days from the convergence until the ritual with the indigo seed needs to be performed. And you're saying now it's 49 days
soon to be.
Since you met, since your group came together.
Most of us, Celia and Iskrin, weren't there at the start, but the rest of us, we met roughly at that point.
Interesting. Founding almost. Who's to say? Those last 2 visions I gave to you were always ones people puzzled over. They were found in completely different parts of Marat's writings, different from all of the ones that speak of the elements.
Yeah, I think this is talking about the Genasi. We found all fine to complete the ritual, I think.
Yes, we had all assumed that the 4 elements, the first 4, the element ones, were the people we had to find. You say we found 1 here. Now we just have to find the other 3.
We found, and I don't want to go into details. It's not my story to tell, but I think we found the second one that kind of applies.
Interesting.
The fire.
Are they someone you trust who could assist us or who would come to our aid?
Yes. Although I don't know if he'll want to make a decision to put himself in that danger, but see, there's still somebody we trust. Yeah. But the others, maybe we've run across them, maybe we haven't. I don't know.
Very good.
I don't know the rest, although Iskrin said that the frozen cradle, something to do with the Frost Prince, fey creature from outside our realm, and he serves the Frost Prince. And I was going to ask him. He's kind of glances over to where Iskrin is
having this discussion.
I was going to ask him if he knew any more, but I don't want him to do him for now. I was going to ask him if he could actually give us any clues about what a frozen cradle is, or maybe it's something we can see in the stars, we can align, or I don't know. But I'm trying to put it together. Unfortunately, I don't know, but I think this is something to do with the ritual we have to do itself. But I don't know how that will work.
Well, certainly the time upon time at the end, it seems as though
Yes.
if we do this first piece for us to survive somehow, lines up with the 49 days. And it's repeated again at the end. Perhaps there's other things. Perhaps the sevens point to something else as well. Your friend said something about the weave being the lines. We never had
The weave of magic.
Ah. Interesting. Yes,
Although it
everyone
could-
had many theories about the lines.
It could also be the weave of fate. That's a thing as well, or maybe both. It's lines upon lines. Maybe it's both of them. I don't know. Actually, the thing I was actually going to ask you about is, because we might need to slow down, or maybe stop for a bit. The thing that you said was waiting for us. Because I went a bit fast today, and maybe if we slow down, we might get into danger before we need to do the teleportation.
I would assume that we should approach with the idea that we don't make our final approach until we plan on having the confrontation there at the vortex.
Right. Do you think it's something that's just a natural creature, or something created to prevent us, or something that's been sent by opposition?
I don't know. You know, it was always rumored that Marat's visions came from the seed, that it was unaffected by time or could somehow see. And I just have this impression that there's something. I worry about the serpent that somehow found its way within. I worry about... I am the last. I have, according from everything I've learned and know, literally the fate of our world is right there.
Maybe we can deal with it. I think. Yeah. No pressure.
Yeah. Well.
I can't think of anything more. I was kind of puzzling over this all day, and it's, usually I can read and study for a really long time, but I'm getting a bit tired of today.
It is about time to make camp. Perhaps we should. Will this stop on its own, or do we motioning sort of the dragon room?
I can stop it. I can control it. I can stop and start it. It lasts for 12 hours, but good for a whole day's of travel. But I can start and stop it.
Whenever, at this point, you all are getting close to have traveled 12 hours since you left this morning. You all went to bed around 1 o'clock, so it was a little bit of a late start with people getting their full 8 hours. It's easily approaching 8 to 9 o'clock at night at this point. So, whether you want to let it wear out, or whether, since you're going to try to slow down, if you want to go ahead and stop it and we camp, we can do that as well.
Yeah. He'll stop it, I think.
Okay.
Let it run down to normal speed. Just so. And then he'll call out everyone. So we're going to be going a bit slower for the next few days, and then so we're going to get to where we need to be on the 18th, because that's kind of important, because that's an important number, and that should help the ritual or whatever important is going to happen. It's 49 days since some of us met, and 49, 7 by 7 is a magically powerful number and significant in sort of dates and stuff. So we're going to try and line that up. So is that good, or do some of you want to rush? Looks to sort of luck for this Are you all good with that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Fine. Absolutely fine.
We're not going to stop. We're going to keep moving slowly.
All right.
You say it is important. I believe you.
Thank you. Yeah. But if you have any own ideas about things, please sort of mention them, because kind of, the more pieces we have, the better things we can figure out what's going on.
So anyone want things they would like to do as we make camp again?
I would like to try another session with Iskrin
Okay.
to do what we were doing before.
Okay. Iskrin, you can use, maybe, depends if you'd like to hand over Lyle or just see if Kel can do this on his own this time, seeing as it's sort of grounded through you as well. But you can certainly assist in pointing out the correct, the ley lines again, even though you're able to see them fairly well. I don't know if you want to try it on your own or whether you want to have Iskrin give you a hand.
I think Ishmael would definitely be giving him pointers, like a correct stance to take, where to hold Lyle correctly, and where to adjust the weight of the blade into the blade lines itself.
And at this point, it's still new enough that I want to have Iskrin's help.
So Iskrin, go ahead and do an Arcana check.
Yay! Yay!
Cool, with 17. So, Kel, you will have advantage this time on your survival check. Good thing, too. You are able to... You almost grabbed for the wrong one, but Iskrin sort of helps you, leads your hand in the right way before letting go, and you make contact. And go ahead and do me a lay harmony check.
I step back completely and let him take complete control. But I'm still within 5 feet of Lyle.
Yeah.
I'm still being cautious. Ready to disconnect by teleporting Lyle to my hand if need be.
So, I believe that is dexterity, correct?
Yes. Okay, and then I just do a dexterity save.
Yep, dex save. Just made it with a 15. But go ahead and roll up the D4 damage. Good thing, too. You still getting the hang of this. You are... I know I keep using this description. You are basically grabbing a high voltage wire of pure magic. And while you are more comfortable doing it this time, it still is, you're a day and a half closer to the vice, by distance of travel. And you do take 2 points of dexterity damages. This time it seems, instead of grounding through your physical body, it grounds through your nervous system. And just is like frying your nerves, and your dexterity attribute will drop by 2 points. But you've done it again. You are holding a line of pure nature magic within the bubble.
Okay, so is there any way, because I remember Iskrin calling me an anchor, is there any way I can try and sense that about me and connect my groundedness to this live wire?
That's kind of what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a way to in character tell you that, but you're able to do this because you're an anchor. Yeah. That's what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything I can sense as far as, because I know I need to somehow channel this at some point, a sense of how I can use this connection to direct the flow of the energy to like a point or a thing or something, because I get the sense that I need to put it into the seed.
Yep.
So that would be the next step.
I need you to now, let's see, I don't know if there's, because we haven't set it up yet in your sheet. So the best thing to do would be because you are currently burning dexterity, I need you to do a D20 plus your proficiency plus your dex mod. Your take the damage dex mod. After this, it would be afterwards. Yeah, because I'm not going to make you do another lay harmony check. This is...
So my before I took the dex damage mod?
Correct, you did, yes, before you took the 2 points of dex damage, whatever your bonus
so
was.
It'll be, so proficiency is 3 and bonus was +4, so D20 +7.
Yeah. Woo, 23, 16, nice roll. You mentally thinking about yourself as an anchor, and holding on to this piece. It's interesting. You witness now with the sight, and Iskren sees this too. It's almost as though a portion of this giant cable of natural magic breaks free, and you are wielding in your hand what looks like, reminds you in a way of Iska's whip, a whip of ley line energy that you look to a rock or something inside of the bubble, and you're able to direct it, and it snaps out like a whip, and then back, sort of coils back up and reconnects with the main part of it, the main part of the ley line that you have utilized it from.
Was this a one-time, it just kind of lashed out, or is it something that now I've separated this thing out, I can kind of mentally direct it?
Mechanically, basically, you have to make your harmony check, and then whatever attribute that it is burning would be what your attack check would be.
Okay.
But as long as you are able to keep a hold of it, the ley line, because there's the rules for when you basically drop the ley line.
Right.
You are able to do this.
Okay.
Lines within lines. Both tied to a cord of light. Okay, so when the time is right, the gate opens. You're going to have to take all that power from granted from the cradles. Send that, grab it, and put it into the seed, maybe? Would that work?
Hell's only half listening because he's still holding on to it.
Yeah.
At the present
Are you
time.
going to keep a hold of it, or are you going to drop it?
He's going to hold on to it as long as he feels it's stable enough. The instant he feels like it's starting to slip, he's not going to give it a chance to go wild. He will.
Yeah, but my question is, are you going to make another lay harmony check, or are you going to...
I'm going to drop it then.
Okay.
I'm not going to make another check right now.
Yeah. That's where I was going with that. Okay. I'm going to go out of character for a second here. And I don't know if you're being Iskren or if you're being Kyle. I think you're confusing the two things.
Probably am.
Yeah. There is... What you all are training for right now is to somehow power the Guardian Warpwood seed to grow into a tree so that you can cast transport via plants. I mean, just true flat mechanics of it. I mean,
yeah. Okay.
The whole thing with the gate opening and everything else, that's still 5 months away, with actually trying to make the indigo seed itself that ritual that needs to be done. Right now, this is just your escape hatch to get out of the vice and get past whatever's lurking for you in the center. So, sorry, I usually don't jump out, but I know that I'm talking about lots of seeds and lots of rituals and lots of 49s. So, yes.
Admittedly, it could still apply.
But that's the thing, is that, yes, 49 days since you all met, suddenly there is a ritual that needs to be performed with ley lines and seeds. And 49 days after the next convergence, there is a ritual that needs to be performed, with genasi and seeds and everything else. Funny how that worked out.
Yeah.
Almost like that was planned or something.
I know, right? This world, eh?
It's funny that way.
So, looking at all this, with Kel grabbing the weave itself and then directing it, would that work? Would that, in the void, work? Like, from an Arcana standpoint?
I would say from your insight is from your being you yesterday, if that whip were to go into, and actually from what you even know from fighting a guardian, actually Axel knows this, it sucked the magic out of him, not as gracefully as the seed did, but the guardian did. If a whip were to hit a guardian seed under the influence of the indigo seed, most likely it would connect like plugging a cord into a socket.
Now, Cal, once we get to the middle, once we get to the vortex, and I look at Valshyrian as well, your plan's going to work. It's going to work. Cal, you need to practice again. We'll get this right later on this afternoon or tomorrow. But you need to be ready as hell to connect that ley line to the seed, to the guardian seed. If we unless you want to go the rest of the way by foot.
Well, that's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to practice as much as I can, but it's
taking a physical toll on you.
It's draining me every time I do this.
I know. It would. I don't think a lot of beings ever could grasp the weave just so casually, to be honest.
This isn't casual. I don't know where you get the idea that this is casual.
Well, I move about.
I was holding live nature in my hands.
Didn't it just feel good? Like a light tingling sensation in the tip of your fingers.
Oh, a little more than that.
Yeah.
It was like my whole body was resonating, and it was filling me to the point where it was almost overflowing. I got the sense that if I kept holding it, part of me would just burst from so much power.
That makes sense. That's essentially how we clear spheres. Yeah.
So casual, no. Little bit of a tingle, not really descriptive of what was happening, but yeah. You may be more used to it than I am.
Well, 350,000 years will do that to you, apparently. But,
Cal says nothing and just kind of shakes his head. thinking, just like it's kind of gesture.
Bird. Yes, very much so. Just a little tingle.
But, take it easy. We should take it easy for the rest of the day. We'll try again.
So yeah, camp. You guys make camp for the evening. Luck, you feeling up to cooking, or are you staying to yourself still a little bit? Y'all have plenty of dry rations, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, we'll do some cooking.
Okay.
Have we all noticed, or has Luna noticed how tired Luck seemed?
I'm going to say no, just because the reality is y'all have spent the last day, all of y'all, with about one level of exhaustion at one point or another. Okay. So I'd say at this point, it's not different enough from what just your last
I was just curious.
Week of experience.
That would affect what you did. All right.
Out of character question.
Yep.
And if you say this is information I can't have or would know, I totally get it. Because the ring, resting in the ring, clears an extra level of exhaustion, is it possible that resting in the ring might clear heal back an extra level of stat damage?
No, doesn't work that way. Yep, stat damage is still stat damage.
It's a good thing to ask.
It's a good thing to ask, but no, it doesn't. Yeah, it's dude. You are touching the face of magic itself.
Have we, and this is a definite table talk that won't affect in-game, but have we figured out how Kel heals from that at all? Or does Kel know? Is it just time, or is it...
I mean, Danny knows. It's dice.
Okay. Just curious.
Yes. For what you know, right? Yes. For what the party knows and what Danny knows, it's dice.
Sounds like a dicey subject.
Sounds like a dicey subject. So Luck does some cooking, nothing super fancy. You all keep the campfire low. People are sort of doing their thing. Dustin drifts over to Iska and Luna again.
Kel is kind of off by himself a little bit, focusing on his experience and just trying to basically close his eyes and remember the feeling, trying to make it feel more familiar to him,
okay,
in an attempt to, hopefully have it not affect him so drastically the next time he tries it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we'll do some rolls to see how well you do with that with your next attempt. Anyone else doing something in particular, or just sort of doing their normal after-dinner routine?
Ishgrin would like to ask Celia if she'd like to do some sword play.
Pardon me?
A bit of training.
Actual training.
You sicko.
So yeah, you guys can absolutely...
Lyle's a rapier. Gosh.
Yep, you all can absolutely do some work with Lyle in her rapier.
Do I crit?
I don't know. Roll me.
Oh, Lord.
Roll me 3 attacks with your...
I'm rolling 2.
Oh, no.
I don't know why I did 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was 3. You both should have done 3. So y'all basically tied in the first one. She totally takes you in the second round, and then you and Lyle get her back in the last one.
It's a tie.
It's a tie.
That means he wins. You'll learn. That means he wins.
Yeah. So,
dance?
Oh, if y'all want to dance, that's fine.
Not dying.
Tristan drifts back over to...
Tristan?
I'm sorry, not Tristan. Dustin. Yeah. Tristan would be the name of the caravan master, because it's coming up here first. Dustin sort of drifts back over to you two. You can tell there's a weight, and he's trying to explain himself, but it's something he sort of has had to build himself up to. The year on Tristan's caravan, it raced by, as it will, the excitement. My skills, they were honed beyond anything I could have expected as our journey took us across the continent, and it was my first time through the Vice here. I was hardened to combat and to loss. As often is the case, not all of us who started out actually returned. My excitement grew as we arrived back on the Dragongust Plains with spring in full bloom across those beautiful rolling hills. Summer's heat chased us northward as we passed through Sojourn's Landing and finally up the familiar road to Balathira. We finally approached the lands once cultivated by our community, and then that was it. My contract was fulfilled. I couldn't help but pass through the farms that had been our home, our community, our lives for so long. Places were familiar, but the faces of strangers met my gaze. It was with a wistful smile that I noted that there were no white daylilies blooming beside our cottage. Sarah, having remembered to dig the bulbs up and take them to our new home. I pulled out my map and refreshed myself on the route, and I headed west into the forest. The journey was challenging, but not so difficult that I became concerned that our community wouldn't make it. On the 4th day, I turned north. As was planned, I wanted to travel along a long valley that after a week of travel would hook up and eventually take me to the stream that I knew would flow through our new home. On my final day of travel, I looked to the sky for smoke from cooking fires or other telltale signs of our settlement. But there were none to be found. My heart grew fearful as I approached the site of our village. Terror gripped me as I discovered felled lumber left to rot and half-finished shelters being retaken by vines. Broken tools, spoiled seed seemed to materialize like ghosts out of the undergrowth. In a fugue, I screamed for my Sarah and my Lily, for anyone, until I collapsed on the banks of the stream, sobbing. In denial, I convinced myself that perhaps this was a different settlement. My family was safe and just somewhere else. And then I saw them. A bed of pure white daylilies surrounding a sunny rock overlooking a pool in the stream. It would be the perfect place for my Lily to spend the days while Sarah worked to build the village, and I knew in my heart that this was all that remained of Tilla's Grove, our collective dream. I retraced my path back to our old home. I arrived and desperately searched for anyone I knew or who had news of our community, but no one was to be found. And all that almost anyone knew was that they went west to start a new village. After a month of searching, as fall approached, I heard a rumor that Augusta, an older matron from our village, was living in a hovel on a farm on the outskirts of Balathira. Days of looking finally took me to the door of her tiny hovel. Augusta led me into the drafty space, separated into rooms only by the tattered curtains hung from rafters. I was in a daze of relief and despair as she sat me down in the drafty space, so flimsy in construction it creaked almost rhythmically with every breath of wind that passed through. Augusta told the story of their journey in arriving at the site of Tilla's Grove, of joyous nights and industrious days, of building shelter and clearing the land. But then, as the last of the frost was leaving the ground and the time of planting grew near, she spoke of a devil that came to the village, covered in demon runes claiming the region as its territory. The men tried to run it off, she said, thinking they had it outnumbered. But soon threats turned to blows, and the devil turned its creatures of fang and claw against them, grievously injuring and crippling the men, destroying the tools and supplies, slaughtering the livestock, and spoiling the seed as well. And then it was gone. But the damage had been done and was irreparable. She spoke of how they fled with all that they could salvage, all alive, but broken. With nowhere to go, and their dreams shattered, it only took days for fear and heartbreak to turn to suspicion and superstition. What had drawn the devil to them? What was the cause of their misfortune? She recounted how glances at Lily quickly became whispers of the stained ones, and misfortune being drawn to all who harbored them. Sarah tried to speak reason to the people, but those whispers became action all too quickly. Hooded, they came in the night. Augusta with Sarah as they ripped Lily away from her. Augusta told how she screamed that they would all be damned to the 9 hells if they did this to an innocent. She said Sarah fought like a lioness as they took Lily, but all heard the crack of Sarah's ankle breaking as she was thrown to ground by the largest of the men. Guilty faces watching for the tents, but not intervening, as Sarah wailed into the darkness, crawling on her knees after them until she collapsed and went silent. By morning, half of the community had slunk off into the wilderness, and by the next nightfall, nothing was left of the dream that was Tilla's Grove. Augusta then looked up at me and looked at the curtain behind me that divided the room, and I realized the creaking I was hearing was not the wind. Shaking, I pulled back the curtain, and there she was, my Sarah, rocking on a stool with a blank stare, wasted away to almost nothing. In her hand she held Lily's baby and a white daylily that looked as though it had just been picked. He just sort of looks to you. That is why, as long as I live, I will stand with you, or do whatever must be done. My Lily had a baby, and you should have one too.
If everything does go as planned, my child will be named Lily regardless.
Dustin does just that.
Luna, I think you feel some arms around you, like from behind, as Iska kind of pulls you close and like holds you just so tight, and you can feel as she puts her face to yours, you can feel the tears coming down the side of hers, and she just whispers that I will bend fate and fortune. I will move mountains, and I will bring down temples to make that vision a reality.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you. And Luna will, if Dustin would allow it, kind of like turn so Iska's on her side and Dustin's on the other, and hug them both.
Okay. I need perception checks. From the party.
Thank you. Gosh.
It's at disadvantage.
Yep. All of you. You see Kel fall to the ground, limp and lifeless. He still breathes, but he is unconscious.
I go over and do a medicine check immediately.
I look at his wave.
Luna, go ahead and roll me the medicine.
Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Oh, okay.
I'd have given you advantage, but anyway, his body has taken quite a bit of damage. Perhaps from this, but also emotional strain that he's gone through, and he's been hiding it well. But his constitution is not what it should be. You notice a slight shaking in his hands from the damage to his nervous system. Iskrin, you see the powerful anchor still there, but you also see something else. There is a corruption within his weave. Kel. The last days of Talarian fill your mind once again. But this scene is new. Talarian, limbs heavy with exhaustion, movement slow and sluggish, is battling a mist lurker. You see as his shot goes wide, and he turns to run as the mist lurker advances. Fear clutches him as he knows in his current state he cannot outrun this specter. The ring. It strikes like a viper with its final assault in this, his moment of fear. You see as Talarian is overtaken by a vision. He is in a tent, illuminated by daylight. Shadows of leaves make silhouettes on the canvas around him. An argument can be heard outside, rising in intensity. Before him, huddled in the corner, is Sarah, a dark-haired woman you don't recognize. She is comforting a moon-faced, alabaster-skinned child with a cloud of silver hair. The yelling is distressing her. Lily starts noticeably as the arguing stops and the sound of blows can be heard outside. Kel, you feel, as Talarian does, the cold breath of the mist lurker on your neck as it begins to embrace Talarian. But your eyes only can see the vision forced upon him. Dread fills Talarian and he tries to banish the vision, not wanting to see, but he is unable to shift to as it shifts outside. A crowd of men is fighting a shadowy figure. It's covered in tattoos and has a mane of dark hair. Daylilies' last thought as the Mist Lurker drains away his life is that of vengeance as he watches that figure, his brother, transform into a bear and proceed to destroy the settlement of Tiller's Grove. And that is how we're going to end our session today.
Do 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 do.
Welcome to the Vice, everybody.
Happy times.
Wait, what?
Just when you thought the pain had ended.
The pain never ends.
Actually, welcome to the pantry.
Hey, what they? No, she's not gonna go.
So,
Projection is strong in this one.
let's go around the room.
It's a small world after all.
It's a small world after all. Celia,
Yeah.
Jeanette, tell us about your session. You had a great conversation about how babies are made.
Yeah. Great. Hi. This is you're new here. I'm Dragon Druid. I Celia had fun today.
So you had a good session.
Celia had a good session. Celia's been fine in the Vice. I don't know what everybody's complaining about. Celia's been fine.
Celia, Queen of Naps.
Queen of naps, man. I'm gonna put my I'm gonna put a link to my Twitter in the chat. You can follow me on there. That's
Kyle.
What a fantastic session of joy, new ideas, and heartbreak, and slaughter. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But no, I had a wonderful session. This is good. Why'd you end it? Why can't we just keep going? I'm Dragons of Cats. You can find me on the Twitters and on Twitch as Dragons of Cats. I do a charity stream on Wednesday night, Australian Eastern Standard Time. We're currently playing some lovely D&D, and it's wonderful as the players are getting into the boss fights. But yeah, this was a great session, and is it time for the next one?
It's just a week away. Templar Warden.
Hello, I am Templar Warden. I was playing Tabaxi with Tabaxi Wizard if you tried halfway through and didn't know my character. And well, that's a typical Vice session filled with ups and downs and immature humor and heartbreaking, heart-wrenching pain. So, sound normal Vice session I'm looking forward to next week. You may find me pretty much anywhere on the internet at Templar Warden, or as Templar Warden, and you can find me in Twitter at Raynor Templar. I'll put that in chat. Yeah, I had an interesting time. Very interesting time.
Derek, forgive me.
That was a good session. Nothing to forgive, man. Like, that was fun, and I am ready for more. Good lord. I'm Bird. You can find me on Twitter and on Twitch at that name. You can also find me on Six Sided Diaries or the Starfinder podcast.
Alicia.
That's it.
Hello, I am NNG9 on Twitch, where I live stream video games and swear a whole bunch. I'm NNG98 on Twitter, where I live tweet random stuff, do puns, all that good stuff. I especially like to live tweet Critical Role, so there you go. I am a player in T. Fredrickson's 80 S of the Power Within, Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and also on that same channel, the Friday Night Bloody Bucket campaign. I also play a character there, and that character's art is now my token, done by the awesome Oil Rant. Go ahead and give them a check out. And speaking of art, Wow Kate did a picture of Lily. Her link is also in the chat. Please go check it out. Wow Kate is amazing.
Ooh. You're breaking my heart.
You
Oh,
broke
you're breaking
out.
my heart.
And you don't get to say shit about.
I know I don't
breaking
get
down,
to.
You stomped on ours. You stomped on Cal.
Oh, it's perfect. I actually was going. No, I can tell that later. Let's go ahead and go on to Good Guy Pie.
Sorry, I just saw the picture and it made everything worse.
Oh, the picture just is killing me.
I'm Good Guy Pie. I'm sad. Stop hurting Cal. Stop hurting Cal. Oh, actually, you can hurt him for a little bit longer.
Because you know where that gun turns when it's not on.
The wizard, you know what? Those wizarding saving throws are scaring me. So, 2 more sessions, Cal, and I'll take it back. I'm Good Guy Pie. You can find me at Good Guy Pie pretty much anywhere because I'm just fabulous like that. Critical Role, I hear, is stealing my character ideas, but best form of flattery is imitation. And you're a monster. You're tearing me apart, Jay.
Danny.
I'm Toonarth. I play Kel. No Dungeons and Coffees tomorrow morning. See you next week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there is no Dungeons and Coffees. I'm going to the Highland Festival. But we will be back. I'm Tall Squall. We will be here every Saturday at 2:00, playing the story of the Vice. There's lots more to come. Dustin's story is not done yet.
And neither is my torture.
I loved putting this session together. I can't tell you.
Did we do Templar?
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip? I did skip Templar. Let's go back to Templar. How did I skip over you? I went up and
You
around.
didn't skip me.
You started. Wait, what?
You didn't skip me.
No.
No, Templar did his plugs.
I was gonna say we got everybody. Anyway, no, like I said, it was a fun writing session this week. Just trying to weave everything together, and I will say to all DMs out there, keep your notes. Since we're not having Dungeon Coffee, keep your notes. I had one sentence that I wrote down last February. That was the inspiration for this whole story, and Lily was born of it, and I love her. Until next time. Till next time, gather your friends together. Tell a story. If you don't tell one, share one, because that's what it's all about. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you around the interwebs.
Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.